some small scholarship monies. They just were approved. I wasn't as sure as I was last week. My members, you're going to have a chance be the first WASFO recipients since 2019 for members of the church. And then for those who are not, we had a nice lady named Gwen Thomas who died back in 2017. You know this. Back in 2017, she died and left a lot of money to us to give scholarships. But then the pandemic came. Families said they would agree to us stopping awarding because people weren't really going away to school. So why are we giving away money? But the interest grew on it. So we got money to give away to non-members as well. So I'm glad you came. Now there's eons of other people that wanted to come. I had 25 students sign up. It's the way it always is. I think those that are here, Brianna, are those that are supposed to be here. That's the way I feel. It's just the way it works. It's the way it goes. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. Let's make sure I can operate this Apple Mac equipment. Process check. I'm probably going to have the activity discussion mid-beginning. And I'm going to be led of the Lord when you come, but I'm going to get you out of here. Don't worry. It's going to be such a short session. I don't know where to put you now. But anyway, I will do it. I promise. You'll meet all the guests. I also have a special I could do in the TV shows starring so-and-so, starring so-and-so. And special guest, this is
Farron. My name is Farron Littleton. I am a third year at UCLA, political science major, film minor, education minor. So.
Okay, let's, huh?
I'm going to be a fourth year actually.
Yeah, she's saying she's leaving third to fourth year.
I'm sorry. I'm so used to saying
All right, so she'll have something to do, some Q&A. I'm gonna ask some questions. Y'all know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ask some questions and let you intervene. I have one surprise visitor coming, but I don't think they're gonna make it now. They come from too far away and they're hitting. We'll see what they insisted on trying to come. They come, I'll put them up too. All right, you had a question? Yeah, you can do it right now. Okay. I'm not gonna say anything. I can neither confirm nor deny that. I'm amazed when people know. Have you ever noticed that people know stuff? How does he know to say that? She's trying to come from Irvine. She's speaking there now. And how do you know that might happen?
Just context.
All right, okay. We'll go ahead and get started here. All right, let's talk a little about the enrollment process. By the way, the reason I didn't introduce you all, you're going to be speaking. So, yeah. Y'all know Yard. Yard is our number one, I got to still figure it out, student relationship. He's quite a philosopher. He's one of my top advisors to this program. Him and I chop it up about all kinds of subjects. He's just an amazing guy. And so, he'll have some process checks at the end on things and make some comments as well. All right, how about the enrollment process? I didn't get to do any of this at all. Going to do orientation stuff, housing, roommate concerns. I'm going to hit housing and roommates really hard, super hard. After I cover a segment, I'll ask for brief comments from you all. I see you all nodding. I got a lot to say, but wait to see what I say first. Maybe I'll have deja vu. Course registration, that needs to be talked about, right? Food plans, we need to talk about food plans. Books and tech, we need to talk about that. I added that because that's something important now. And then preventing stop out. I want you to finish college in 3.5 or 4 years. You heard me imply that last week. He even gave you a chart on how to do it in 3 or 4 years. Okay? I'll be doing their tech advisor. Okay, he said okay. All right, let's go. Parents and youth should attend. So orientation is a youth event. Some schools require parents to go. Some CSUs do. So I like parents to attend them. I don't think only students should. If either your parents or both somebody never visited, they need to go. Okay, that's important. Let's continue. There are some things the school will push you on concerning payment for school. See, I was going to pull this. I was going to pull that bullet point, but that's where you start hearing about money. That's why you want your parents there, right? They all know they can call me, so sometimes they might just send you and then call me. But that's when they start talking about money. Even if you're an athlete, you're fully covered. There are some things that they're going to want you to do with financial aid. For example, I think they're still going to want you in your first year, they're going to want you to take out a student loan because that's for your travel. When you travel, you got some money. So things like that are still going to become a reality. You do owe now for the first semester. I say, yikes, it's unbelievable. Your first semester. You will owe again right after Christmas, right? For the second semester. Have you completed your online authorization for your student loan? The schools are not good at telling you that stuff. I'm willing to do a Zoom workshop on it to make sure you do it, because funny things start to happen by July 10th if you've not authorized the school to utilize your direct student loan funds. Some of you say, well, I'm not going to have a loan. Well, talk to your parents because they might have planned for you to have a loan. By the way, ooh, hallelujah. Just so you know, I don't think it's such a bad idea for you to pay something for college. I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, you know, and then, by the way, ooh, glory. If you come out of college and you can't pay the $280 a month, then that's a signal that something didn't happen right in college. And I always tell my current students, you know, it's not going to affect you as much, but maybe my buddy here. This is why I was so concerned when there was direction given to not make payments, because a lot of students are now realizing they have payments. So some were blessed if they were at the, in certain situations, they could get covered, and they were covered by that forgiveness. But most students, 85%, stopped their payments, were not covered. So, but anyway, you need to set up for that loan because it's going to pay for you. Some of you, that is the way your parents are paying the tuition part of your time in school. If you're paying in cash, there's deadlines for your parents. They'll bring all that up right in front of you and your parents at the orientation, because schools at the end of the day have a fiduciary responsibility to collect money, and they will. That's why we're trying to get everybody's financial aid settled now. You have about a month to do that, right? Typically there's about a month, so there's enough time, but that's just something you need to be aware of. Here we go. During the orientation, you'll be shown how to register for classes. Please take, I got to tell you all about this. So what happens here is, what happened was, every year this happens, and it's just the way it is, you know, but now I'm telling y'all it's not going to happen. Anybody not hearing this, and maybe some will hear it because of the video, I don't know. But every year this happens where students go to orientation. Yes. Huh? It's recording. It's a digital system. It's a digital. Hi there. Hi, Sergio. Now everybody's going to know. Now you go, oh, we got to edit that out, right? I like that you're looking out for me. Looking out for me, right? That's what that really means. Yes.
Do parents need to be at orientation? Because I don't think all parents are going to be there.
I see you guys. Either your parents should be there or someone as a representative thereof. For example, I know I'm going to be at your orientation. We've already had conversations with them. I'm part of a strategic plan they have. So I'm going to be there, and I've already. I think I'm qualified to make sure you know what's happening. That's a great question. I'm selective which ones I can't go to them all. I am going to try to slip over to Howard when they go, because I got 4 students going there, so I'll try to slip there. And Northridge, I'm thinking about. The reason I'm thinking about it is because I have a record number that are going to Northridge. I'm gonna have a reception for y'all. Don't you want to come in here, eat some food, and talk to other Northridge students? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. We're going to have Philip up here. I got students that are currently on the campus, et cetera. So the answer is, I think if someone who represents your interests is there, you're fine too. Okay. Oh, what I was going to say was, you got to pay close attention to what's happening there and take notes, because on the registration for classes, it's very common that students will go to orientation. This drives parents crazy. That you'll go to orientation, you'll learn how to register for classes, and you come home Monday and you tell your parents, say, well, did you register for classes? You go, no. And they go, what? And they call me, they're scared, because then you remember, oh yeah, they did tell us how to do it. They did tell us where to go. They did tell us these things. Did you want to make a comment? Gotta be quick, but go ahead.
Okay.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. That's why I called on you.
Well, before they register for classes, I know a lot of the students that are going to college, they have to take like the test so they can see where they place in math and English. Did you talk about that?
So CSU dropped that.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I would cover it. In fact, in the old days, those view graphs would be here, and they were the last holdout. Now, that doesn't say that doesn't happen, but that does happen at the orientation also. They'll have them take a quick digital test. So you're not wrong. I'm just saying CSU is moving away from that. Go ahead.
Do we bring our computers to orientation?
I would, but you don't have to. That's my answer. I would, you don't have to. Yes. Because sometimes you might want to take notes and do stuff. Send yourself emails, whatever. See, there you go. She said you would bring it. Yes. Oh, I made you forget. I made you forget, man. Okay. Then you have a thinker. You can make him forget easy. Because his mind is operating on several tracks and you short circuit one of them, it's over. Okay. Pay close attention to your behavior agreements. I have more to say about that. There's behaviors on alcohol, dress code, drugs, codes of conduct, protest regulations, more on that later. Good time to think through your career versus major. Some of y'all may have thought your career and your major are the same. They're not. What's your major? What job you want? Okay, see, there's no sports agent degree. She knows that. There's no degree for sports agent. I mean, she kind of knows. I haven't talked to her about it, but I could tell the way she said it. Business administration she led with. Because at the end of the day, sports management is business administration. Ms. Tribling, what was yours?
When I began school, it was pre-med.
Then what happened?
I decided that was not the route that God wanted me to go.
I like the way she cleaned that up.
So then it became psychology, and then I had my master's in social work.
And now she's doing social work privately, right?
Well, nonprofit. I work.
That's what I'm saying, privately.
Yeah, with veterans.
Yeah, more on that later.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we gonna have placement tests for English and math?
I'm thinking about your school now. Your
It's
school,
online.
huh?
It's online.
Yeah, they're going to send you to an online test. Okay. So schools have moved away from that a little bit. There's a reason why.
Yes.
And it's always about the Benjamins and costs, right? Yes.
Yeah, I just want to make a quick comment.
Please do.
A lot of times your major you won't even use. Like you'll major in something and you'll end up going a whole different route. So do something that really interests you. And yeah, same. And then sometimes like myself, my major was journalism in undergrad, but I ended up using it. Like I wrote for my friend's magazine on the side, or I use it at work to write for the newsletter. But it's not necessarily being a journalist. So you never know, but just keep that in mind. Major in something you're interested in that could transfer to other stuff.
Yeah, don't you think I'm going to go to you in a minute. Don't you think being a good journalist makes you a good writer? Don't you think good writing is a strong communication skill that could work other places? I met so many engineers who were bad writers, Farron. They're great at engineering, they couldn't write.
They were good at math.
Yeah, they're good at math, they couldn't write. So it's kind of like, writing is important, right? It's kind of important. Sergi, what do you want to say to that?
So I pivoted a lot, and that cost me a lot down the line. I went from construction to accounting, and then I was a surgical technician. I worked in the OR for about 4 years. Was not for me. And then now, self-taught IT.
And that's where his career, yeah.
And that's why I'm
Yeah.
here. But I found the passion in IT a little late. And if I would have taken that time more wisely to start my career versus trying to find out what was my major and all this other that, it would have been a lot more cost efficient. And it's the love and the passion.
Yeah.
That's what I just wanted to add.
Yeah.
It's the love and the passion for your career. Sometimes your major, you don't really feel the love and the passion for your major, and you'll find it in your career.
Yeah.
So be mindful of that.
I think Yara talked about that last week. Amazing story. I might ask you to write. I should write that out anyway. But it's all we're talking about right now.
There's always minors too. You don't just stick to them.
Right. So sometimes your minor is a clue sometimes your minor or your co-curricular. Some schools don't have minors. Sometimes your minor is a clue to what you really want to do. And it's a good time as any to stop and say, although this is not a career workshop, I hope to offer you, if Ricardo was here, he would tell you, he's going to offer you when you get to school several opportunities to learn about careers. We're going to bombard you with that from here to eternity. He's got so many plans for that, it's crazy. So really, you know, it's not to get too much into that, but career is, a lot of people think their passion is their career, but it's not. My passion, and maybe it'll surprise you, I don't know, besides the MCU, stop it. My passion, stop. My passion is history. I love history. I feel like I'm a historian. I'm reading a book about Truman right now and how, it's on tape, I don't care, and how, now I'm gonna use better because it's early in the day, I don't have a better word for better. He was better for Black folks than FDR. Way better. And Woodrow Wilson, don't get me started, he was a KKK supporter. But Truman said, why is the military segregated? I don't, that's before Brown versus Board of Education. What? Get them together. And then he court-martialed 12 white colonels that wouldn't cooperate. He court-martialed them. Took a lot of heat for that too. But anyway, that's an example of history. I love history. I'm going through every president's life carefully right now. That's why I knew the story about Rutherford B. Hayes, which I think changed Black life in this country. All right, okay, let's go. But that's my passion. But I majored in engineering because I just had this funny thing I wanted to eat. You know, isn't that strange that I wanted to eat and I didn't see a way that history could feed me? So, you know, like he said, I just self-taught, you know, but you can do that so many ways now today. And then I did engineering and said, you know, even though I can make all this money, about all was going to pay for my kids' colleges, I said, you know, I think I'm created to do something else. And one thing led to another. I'm doing this. And I've never, ever been happier. Just thought I'd bring that up. Career versus college. It's a good time. Career versus major. It's a good time to think about it as you move to orientation. Orientation will cause you to think about that. A properly run orientation, you'll think about, what am I really doing with my life? Where am I going? What am I doing? Registrations. The school will work exclusively. This is something I told the parents, but I have to tell you, they're going to only work with you. They don't want to work with your parents. It's a thing called FERPA. Now, I always say this here. The same stuff I'm covering with you, like this one slipped in, I'm going to cover with your parents. I just don't want y'all in the room, you know. It's kind of awkward. It's awkward if I want to be able to say what I got to say, you know. Like they're not right here, but they're going to see the video. But you know what I mean. Because this is something they need to hear. School will work only with you on registration, which will not be completed at the end of orientation. And it will drive your parents crazy. Whether you're in 2-year college, look at my two, whether you're in 4-year college, you go to orientation, they're showing you how to register. And the school is waiting to hire professors and make contracts when they see how many they have. There's going to be more of this year because college schools are bleeding right now. Right now, a lot of them are losing money. CSUs are under enrolled. UC is doing fine because they're a selective research school, but every other category schools are losing. So they're really going to wait till when they have to hire teachers. So don't let it, you know, probably July, August, a lot of your classes will come clean. Don't worry, right before you go to school, but your parents will be going crazy. When that happens, think about me. They can't just go down to the schoolhouse because they're going to say, sorry, we don't talk to you. I've already started with y'all. Some of y'all parents, who was in here? Oh yeah. Some of y'all parents are telling me things. I'm going, well, you'll tell me when you want to. He telling me it's something we might have already talked about, right? And that's why this is normal. Like if I call your house, it's normal to have that creative tension with you and your parent now, because you're growing up and they're gonna miss you and they're worried about you. They might one day be, another day, oh, come on, baby, come to dinner. You know, there's these things going on right now. This is what this is all about. It's all about the school wanting to talk only to you. Courses will be filled and unavailable even right before they continue. This will drive parents crazy, etc. Your advisor isn't, sorry, they're upside down. You'll figure it out. Your advisor is an advisor. This is important. Your advisor is an advisor. They're not a ruler. It's probably a good idea, after hearing this today and what I'm going to tell you next few view graphs, to go in there with some idea of what you want to do, what you want to take. So, well, they're going to tell me what to take, but they're advisors. You know? All right. That's what this is all about. Your general ed classes, think about them ahead of time. You're going to have some general ed classes, and there's some creativity that goes into it. The kind of things you like to learn, there'll be some autonomy there, okay? Here's a good list of courses where previous students have done well and benefited from the first year of school. I really want to get some feedback, quick feedback from some of y'all. Intro to sociology, psychology, anthropology. That's a common class I see, and students seem to do well. Did you ever take that? Or something like it? I know it's UCLA, so it's different.
I think you forgot. I did a lot of my GEDs right before I got to you.
Oh, you're not fair. Don't listen to her. Don't listen. Ooh, no. This is why you missed a year. That's right. Yeah, you're crazy. You know that, right? Not crazy in a good way. Yeah. No. You're all right though. Yes, sir.
I took sociology.
Sure you did. Sure you did. That's a good. There's other ones too. Let's see if we can get into this. U.S. history or geography. You know, I'm gonna put history in there. Intro to art or music for you barbarians out there.
What is that supposed to mean?
Art. Most schools require you to take 2 semesters of art. Some of us could use a little, little art. I don't need that art. I got my music. I'm cool. Get yourself a little history of art or intro to music, whatever. That was the best elective I took in college, intro to music. So I could say things like, ooh, that group just went to a 5th there. Come on now. You don't help them see the light when they play the organ at the end. He's sitting the 5th and the 7th, y'all. I'm probably overdoing it, right? Intro to speech. What a great class to take. Yes, ma'am.
I was going to say that was my first class in college was AFRAS, so it was Africana Studies.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm going to say
Which was
that.
really cool oral comm, and so it was from like that perspective, and I never had that experience before in high school. So I encourage you, if you can take in another department, that would be really cool.
Yes, that's a good point. Absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry. The one I wanted really, ethnic studies. Which is why I'm cracking up. I've always had that bullet there. And now now they want to come and CSU and you see, you're required to take ethnic studies. I'm going, duh. But like you'll be required to take it. I think freshman year, they're going to give it to you too. That's talking about Northridge. Yeah. Okay. What do I need to know about housing? I didn't animate these bullets on purpose. Students will sign a residential agreement. Read it carefully. More on that lately. Yeah, buddy. I'm going to be super real when I get there. Pay first housing, yes. Pay housing, first housing payment. Most times before financial aid even credits. Well, it's in the summer. It's like right through here now they're trying to get it. Especially if it's Northridge. Do you have housing yet?
Yeah, mine is.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Wait a minute. Let me do this. She has housing at Northridge. I got 3 students that I'm gonna have to go up there and go gangster on the president. See, I don't like to play president cards on people. He knows us because of Bishop, right? They know him. So I said to myself, I don't want to play that. That's a weapon of mass destruction. When you call in a president, they start stomping around and find out why things didn't happen. So hopefully your buddies will get housing. I gotta get you all together. That's what I gotta do. Cool. I want to talk to you when we get to that part. Okay. Sometimes it's very high, that first payment. You have no financial aid. Student accounts fund the day-to-day. Well, let me back up. If you're getting a Pell Grant many times, they reduce the payment substantially. If you're getting a federal Pell Grant, which means there's a financial need. Student accounts fund the you say, when am I getting my money? The day after you sit in the seat. The day after you sit in the seat, all the federal funding and financial aid becomes available. Now, the schools know that. So usually they work out a situation with you where they check out and see if you're really going to get it. Then they'll tell you you don't have to worry about it. But that's something your parents will be negotiating. If you have any doubts about that as a student, come to me, right? What's in the residential agreement? Uh-oh. Here we go. Because a lot of stuff in there is required by the feds because they can't get federal aid. In your school, I guarantee you, a large portion of their revenue is from federal aid. So they got to pass these rules over to you. Here we go. General campus behavior agreement about stealing, violence, drug sale and use, drinking in the dorms, etc. And you, if you look the other way on it, could get put out. You're in the dorm, and this is real life stories. You're in the dorm at Howard, minding your business, and suddenly DC police comes in, everybody get on the floor, everybody. And you find out your roommate is stealing drugs. Now you'll have a hard time telling them you didn't know. So until the school knows, they got to put you out. They got to suspend you. Because I was called in to help with one. We got him back in the school. He was in a hotel for about a week, got him back in. He said to me, oh, Deacons, thank you so much. Make sure you tell people that before they come to college. I was terrified. I said, okay, well, don't look the other way. So you listen closely. You have a moral and ethical responsibility to understand that goodness isn't just being good. It's doing good, doing the right thing. This is why I crack up at people in Church of God in Christ. I'm saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. And that with a mighty burning fire. Stop, you're gonna make me laugh. We all into that, right, Sergio? We mighty burning fire. And we just letting folk do evil in front of us every day. Without the people in Germany, never mind, I'm getting too deep today. Hitler was definitely a problem, but there were people that went. Some of them got hung too. You say, well, I was just following orders. But we're talking about just looking the other way. So that's very important that you understand that. I've had students who were just in the dorm and stuff happened. They had to prove they weren't involved. They had to prove a freaking negative. Remember, goodness isn't just staying out of trouble. Also, please know the protest regulations of your campus. I think I emailed or texted all 9 of my UCLA students, stay away from that encampment. You know why? I got a leak from LAPD. They were going in there because they were coming out of there and doing stuff, marking up the buildings, all that. You want to be far from that stuff. Encampments sound peaceful, but they're violating state law. Please know the protest regulations of your campus. Stay away from activists, even activist professors. Some of these professors pull students down with them. There were 13 students got kicked out of UCLA. I don't know what's going on. And well, they fired 4 professors very quietly. No matter what you think, what side you're on, now there's a such thing as a peaceful protest, but what happens is that people can ruin it. Where am I pointing? There were a lot of peaceful protesters down there, but what do you think the cameras are showing us? Hello? That's why you have that funny little verse. Thank you, Holy Spirit. That's why you have that funny little verse in Romans 1. It's I should say strange. There's a strange verse where he gives these 17, or is it 16, super evil things going on in Romans 1. In Romans 1 and 30, 31. And 32, it drops a bomb, right? And those that agree with the same. When you look in the Greek, it shows to stand beside them. So sometimes you need to stand out of this stuff. I did not have this bullet any other year until, I'll go right to you, I promise, until I had students of mine at campuses that got in trouble. So be careful, you know. And I'll make a list of what constitutes, after this is coming, a list of what constitutes a bad protest. And it'll leave a whole lot of things untouched. Yes. I definitely am aware of you here. Go.
No, I just wanted to make a point where usually it might just be my campus, but it might be for other campuses as well, colleges where your TAs or professors will offer extra credit to participate in a protest. I had that happen to me so many times. So they will do that.
Did you do it?
No,
How much extra credit did they offer?
like 10%.
Is that a lot?
Depends where you're.
If you're failing,
Yeah.
if you're failing, it's probably good.
Should I do it if that happened?
You're not going to have to.
Yeah, you're right.
Ooh, that was a good answer I gave. That was a good answer. I'm patting my back on the answer I gave that young man. That's a great point, Farron. And it's been my observation over the 30 years I've been doing this, that a lot of, including the Hampton protests and the Iraq War, all those, I've seen a lot of this. This has been going on for a long time. Protests that go too far. It was too far to throw a brick through the president's window and injure one of his staff. That was too far. Come on. Who can say it's, but yet I'm hearing people say that that's not violence. Listen, my friends. I got to get all my shots in now before you hear people in the camp. That is violence. Okay? And a lot of it is yeah, sure. Yeah, some of us those professors seem pretty innocent saying go to the protest, but there's some that are stirring up kids beyond that. This is an important bullet here, I think. More on professors later. I actually am not going to do that today. I'm going to do a separate video on professorology. I dropped that from this. There's a whole thing of professorology. I call it part 2 because Coyle's covered the first part. It showed you how to deal with your professor in your classroom. There's another part too. A lot of them have a hidden agenda to use you. They have certain objectives. There's certain doctorate degrees they're working on, and they want to treat you like a social experiment. You are not a social experiment. You are not a social experiment. You are not a social, and you brothers are not none of us are social experiments. We should not be Haven't we blacks have enough experimentation on us?
Yes, sir.
I thought that was an amen.
Oh, yeah. I thought about that.
So you have a free will. You don't get experimented on. I have a funny joke by Chappelle, but I won't do it here. I don't think I can get away with it. Even I can't get away with that. Okay, here's some illegal protests on most campuses. This would be considered illegal things. In my video I did online, just ask for a send link, I gave an example of good protests. I even showed a video. There are some protests that went on pretty well. Pretty much the George Washington University protests were fine. But the last day, they threw the paint on those statues. I said, oh my God. So I'm calling Jordana up. She's one of my students. Says, are you over there? She says, oh no, they're getting crazy today. That's Jordana. She said, they're getting crazy over today. I said, go back to your dorm. Sure enough, they cleared the encampment the next day. Right? Because they came out of an encampment and it cost $300,000 to repair the statues. So, occupying buildings and encampments. By the way, there's a couple of CSUs where everything was going right. Everything was fine at Cal State LA, I thought, the first few days. But here we go. It always happens. People got out of control. They left the encampment and tore up the lower floor of the administration building, created $2 million of damage, and shut down the summer school. The CHP was in that camp the next day. They had to go in, right? Occupying buildings and encampments, willful damaging of property, verbally violent threats, firearms and weapons. This verbally violent threats, even on Jewish students. Hey, look, this woke me up. I think I told you this, Shard. I was totally somewhat agnostic about that part, but I'm gonna tell you what brought me up to speed quick when we visited Howard with students. Now, the first thing that woke me up to it was students that were denigrating me because I had a cross on. You're Jewish adjacent. So I said, oh, well, maybe that's just those students. But then I had this student who was living there tell me, Deacon, are you going to be here the next day like you usually are? I need to see you. I said, yeah, I'll be here. So I came back the next day and she came into where we had to meet and she started crying. I said, what are you crying for? She said, my roommate is go home. I said, why? I expected some emotional issue or, because I get that a lot too, right? They're an Ethiopian Jewish student. And they were harassing the student because she's Jewish. And she's black. She's black. Her skin was black. Threats against students, really? What do you think would have happened in these protests if they were violently threatening Black American students? I bet you any amount of money, and I would have been mad if they didn't do this. They should have sent the National Guard in then if that happens, right? I'm just consistent on that. Don't be yelling at people because of their ethnicity and all that. Firearms, again, you can have a protest of what you think policy should be in Israel and the Middle East without saying you want Jewish people eliminated. Firearms and weapons, blocking students from entering classes and buildings. These are all the unacceptable behaviors you might see if the campuses go to. I have a feeling that won't happen again while you're there because of some threats have been made by the federal government to take away funds and things. But if it could happen, why am I not? Okay, disrupting classes and ceremonies, threatening staff and teachers. These things are all part of it. Posters, posting racist posters, things like that. These are all unacceptable. More about housing. I love that when I did that. More about housing. Roommate tips. Ooh, this is my favorite part. I got to control my, let me get, woosah. I got to control myself here because it can get super real here. Students should not live alone on campus. If you think about living alone, take significant corrective action to resolve the social issues that will arise. You should not be. It's not good for a man to be alone. I know it applies to men and women. It's in Genesis. Stop it. It's not good to live alone. It's not good. You know, if you cannot be with other students, you're just not ready to be away from home. So you want to pray about that. Fortunately, in the 2 or 3 months, if you're seeing this, that you're getting ready to go, that's something you can deal with, right? But I don't think you should live alone. It's not good to live alone. College students need socialization and making friends and acquaintances. We were talking about that earlier today. In their first year. I feel like I want to put you up after the housing, Brianna. A common cause for students returning home is loneliness. Huh? Oh, yeah, go. Oh, you go up after. Okay, sorry about that. Process check. I like these process checks. Process check. She needs to be next. Okay. I won't get carried away, I promise. Okay. College students need socialization, making friends and acquaintances in the first year. It's a common cause. See, loneliness. See, being alone is not lonely. You have to be alone. Maybe the only one studying. Oops. And depression. It's a lack of connection. Do not room with a friend, family, or anyone you have known outside of the school, including a friend of your parents' children. Don't do that. So like you two, if you have separate roommates, y'all know 4 people now. Maybe different ethnicity, everything. Brianna, go. Quick, because I got to get her up. Go.
Yeah, really quickly. Yeah, I was gonna room with one of my high school friends. It didn't work out, and I roomed with someone who's an international student. It's really cool. I got to know more about her and her friends, and so that's a really great way to meet new people. So try to meet someone new through that experience.
Okay, give him a handout, could you? Okay, that's true. It prevents isolation and develops you a brother's keeper instinct. If your roommate doesn't show up late at night, things like that. Those are good things to do, as you know. Students learn how to deal with difficult social situations. That's where you learn, when you have a roommate. Now, before we go, just one more thing, she's gonna come. I'm gonna do a little exercise here, everyone, okay? You're just in time for an exercise, isn't that nice? Take your hand, put it up like this. Doesn't have to go all the way up, I'm gonna break it. Take your hand, put it behind your neck. I want you to rub it down, like you're getting the stress out. You feel that bony thing? Y'all feel a bony thing there when you press behind your neck? It's a bone, right? That's called a backbone. I need you to use it. When you get to college, you got a roommate. Use it. Hey, don't be having your boyfriend up in here. This is not a brothel. It's not a brothel.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
A whorehouse. Ooh, I said it on tape. It's not. Or you might say to your roommate, bro, your friend coming here, he smells like weed. I hope he's not bringing drugs in here. I need you to have a backbone. I need you to be like, Quillis didn't do this year, so I'm gonna do it. So it's gonna be like when you're a freshman, hey, Caleb, what? When I call Caleb by the end of the year, what? That's the backbone. Yeah, what you want? Gotta have some backbone. Don't let them run over you. Don't let your roommate run over you. Make them follow the rules that you said you'd follow. Everybody signed the agreement. Yes, sir. Literally next. Someone to have you up.
So if you're a first year, you're gonna dorm with first years? Like, you know what I mean? Okay.
Yes.
What about when you're like, does it go by?
They try to keep it together. So that's what you push back when I treat it fairly. I want to have Sneesha come up. I got 2 questions to ask her in front of you. Is it Jesus Christ you're going to see next?
Yes. No, I'm just kidding.
Is it like the?
Well, I'm going to see my sister, Alicia, your homegirl.
My homegirl.
Mountains.
My sister Sneesha Stribling here. She is probably one of the 10, maybe 5 or 10 students that probably I'm most known by. If it was in Wikipedia, most known for she'd be one of the students listed. She's very interesting. So I've got some questions I want to ask you about your undergraduate life.
Oh, yes.
Is that all right? Talk about your roommate situation first.
Okay.
And make your answers short but full of knowledge.
Okay, so my first year, I went to Cal State San Bernardino. I don't know if you guys heard
Move
that.
over here just a little bit.
Over here?
Okay. We can move in front of us. This way.
Oh, okay. Cal State San Bernardino.
Camera.
My roommate, I did not know her. He's right. Do not room with your cousin. Do not room with friends. Room with someone you do not know. She was a different race. She was Hispanic, but she was so lovely. And we are still Facebook friends, and I love her to this day.
Oh, is that her? I didn't know she was a roommate of yours.
Yeah, her name is Cecily, but she didn't finish. She dropped out.
Okay.
But yeah, she still is amazing. So do not room with friends because you guys will not be friends after that. Yes. You know, you already know them, and you guys, just because you're friends with someone or it's your cousin or a sister or whatever, you guys do not live the same. You guys live differently. Just because you grow up together, you're not the same. So that can cause a conflict, for sure.
Now, it's going to drive your parents crazy because they want you to be with somebody they know. Just don't listen to your parents on that. Sorry, I don't care. It's on there.
It just doesn't work for everybody. 90% of the time, it doesn't.
Okay, let me ask you about academics.
Yes.
Tell me a good and a bad and an ugly story with a professor. You don't have to do ugly. Ugly is when it's terrible, but it worked out.
Okay.
But tell me something good, bad. Professor relation, go ahead.
Well, so my major was psychology. So I took a Black social work class. Well, it was like a Black sociology class.
Check
and that
this
was
out.
like, that's when I knew, okay, I'm going into social work because sociology is like the study of like the environment and things like that. Psychology is really study of like the human mind and theories. So when I took that class, I just knew. And then one of my favorite professor, her name was Mary Texera. And then I met this guy that was also, he was getting his master's in social work, and he connected me with the associate director of the social work department. She was Jean Peacock, so she was my mentor.
I love this story. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I just like that story.
So you just have to be connected, like get to know people, go out there. It's scary your first year. I'm not gonna lie to you because I was very scared. I'm one of 4? It's 4 of us. I have 3 other siblings. So I was the second.
Call me 4 times too.
Yes, 4 times. I was the second to go off to college, and it was scary because of course, your you're home and you have all your friends here and you're so used to your parents doing everything. So you're an adult in college. They're not going to be like, hey, Sanisha, we want to talk to your mom. I'm like, no, we want to talk to you. And why did you fail this class? And I remember one year, Deacon remembered this as well.
Oh.
They called all of the students that were failing and they were kicking them out left to right.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, Deacon,
PTSD.
he was like, I don't even know why you're scared. I was like, Deacon, because you sure I'm not going to kick out? He was like, Zadisha. And he was like, did they call you? I was like, no, I'm still here. It was just a lot because I went to a Cal State, so it may be different from a
San
UC.
Bernardino.
Yeah. What people would normally do, they would get their financial aid money, and they will sit in the seat. They'll take their class maybe for a week or two, and then they'll drop the class. And then they'll take the money and then go spend it on like new cars or new outfits and things like that. No. You have to pay that money back.
Well,
So just be mindful of that. And just be mindful of your surroundings and who you're hanging around with. You need to hang around people that are like-minded. You don't want to hang out with Joe if he's not doing his work and he's partying and drinking and, using drugs and doing all that when you're the one that's actually, okay, yeah, I want to study, because you're going to get pulled into what Joe is doing.
well,
So just be mindful of that. And even religion comes up. I know he has that in his PowerPoint. Deacon, religion will come up. They have cults in college, no matter what school you go to. If you're at HBCU, a UC, or a CSU. I had this one young lady come up to me and say, God is a woman. I said, thank you for that. I will not be talking to you anymore. And I just skirted off because I was very strong in my faith. I came up from a child in the church.
well,
But when you do get into college, those things will test you, like the partying, the drugs, everything, the sex. He's going to talk about sex in here as well. All of that will test you, and it will test your faith. So you have to know, now that you guys are an adult, if you're 18, 19, 17, whatever age, you have to know God for yourself. Your parents teach you, and your Sunday school teachers teach you, the pastor teaches you. But when you get to college, you know God for yourself, because that is who you are going to depend on when you get stuck, when and even with cheating. Please don't cheat in college, because they will kick you out. They will kick you out of the class. And then sometimes they'll try to kick you out of college. So yeah.
I work in that office.
yeah, you're in that. That's right. Are you getting PTSD? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah. So just please depend on God, because he is there. And do not join a cult. Please don't, because it's just not the way of life.
Wait, take questions first. Hey,
Oh.
that's okay.
Go ahead. You have a question?
Explain the cults, like what type of cults do they have?
Briefly.
So one of them, this young lady actually told me about the cult. I was going through something with my roommate because I was best friends with this young lady, and we became roommates off campus. We moved off campus, and that was horrible. I'm speaking from experience. It was terrible. Like, I literally had to move with one of my other best friends, and then I went back on campus. So I moved off campus just to go back. Anyway.
It's like my daughter, it's like Andrea, same thing.
Oh my goodness, it was terrible.
Yeah.
So my mom and my uncle, they had to come out because we live, of course, here in LA. It's an hour drive, and move all my stuff out of the apartment. Her sister took over the lease. It was terrible. But the cult was, I was just going to church. I was like, I need God because I'm just tired of her. She's getting on my nerves. We're done. We're not friends anymore. So this young lady calls me and was like, you want to come to my church? And I'm like, sure. Because I was like, I'm a Christian, of course. I love. And then this other young lady calls me, like, don't go to that church. And I was like, why? She seems really sweet. She knows what's going on with my roommate. She said, it's a cult. They believe that their church is the only way, and you can't go to any other churches. And they're just not.
That's not right.
It's like a Latter-day Saints church. It's not for God. So yeah, those type of cults. I'm sorry, go.
Oh, I was just gonna add, I agree with you. I know someone that happened to at USC where they got basically they got sucked into that because they were trying to make friends. So like sometimes they'll see you by yourself,
Yes.
and then like also if you have a longing to belong somewhere to get further in your faith, that's why you have like the scriptures to test the spirits. Like you really need to really weigh into your foundation, and then like tap into the Holy Spirit and be like, is this the right thing to do? Because once you get into it, I've heard it's hard to get out. So you want to make sure that you're being careful.
And they will target you.
And they would target you
so
also
many
at the 2-year colleges too. Just to let you know, it's not just 4 years, it's 2 years
No.
too. They
No.
come
Yeah.
because they know. Oh, and then also debt. I just want to touch just a
Good, good,
smidgen
good.
on that.
It's your time, you know. I want you to
Be careful with the credit card companies too, because they know that you guys are
Yes.
freshmen and they will come and they're like, hey, you want this credit card? You know, you can buy whatever. You have to pay that back. And your credit will wind up being, you know, let's say if you have a 700 starting out credit score, it will be a 500 at the end of the year because you're spending, but you're not paying it back. And now you're getting in debt. So be careful of credit card companies. Talk to your parents about that if you want to talk to a financial advisor, because credit card companies, they are on the campuses and they will tell you these lies like, oh my gosh, you know, your credit score will go up. Yeah, it's good to have credit, but be mindful, do not spend it to the point where you don't have anything else to spend because now you owe. So now you're in debt.
right. Take another question or two. Go ahead.
Like, isn't
Caleb?
there a difference between a cult and like an academic or like secret society?
Yeah, are you talking about more so like you want to be a Mason or like sororities, fraternities? Are you talking about
like,
that?
Like you build connections.
You can build connections with that too, but also be careful because I know you guys are
Mhm.
on Instagram, right? And Facebook or whatever,
Mhm.
Twitter, TikTok. It was a young man that did pledge, but they killed him.
Yeah.
So,
Gotta be
you know,
careful.
you
Just
have
be
to be,
careful.
just be careful. Like, I know you guys want to do, you know, if you want to pledge, if you want to be AKA or was a Mason or Sigma or whatever, it's they do have connection. But if it does not align with your spiritual being, and if they are hazing and beating on you, and that is illegal, then don't do it. Because you shouldn't have to get punished or hit on or whatever just for some letters. Okay? It's not going to get you to heaven.
Well-
And they do have academic
Mhm.
societies too. And those normally are okay, but again, if they're doing
Same
something
thing.
that right, it's the same, right. Yeah, but if they're doing something that doesn't align with your spiritual faith and you know it's not right, and you can go tell on them, because sometimes these advisors, because they have advisors for all of these, you know, the academics and things like that. And sometimes they don't know what's going on because they'll lie and be like, everything's okay. And then they're doing something that's illegal. That does not align with the campus. You can tell on them and then they will get suspended or expelled. So
Yeah,
be
just so you all
mindful.
know, our policy here is to say to you that we don't think you should pledge probably your first 2 years, but I would certainly say definitely not your freshman year.
Definitely not. And they
don't
come after
just-
the freshmen.
I know. Those little sheep, they want to try to
Yeah,
get
they're
them.
like, okay.
All right, anybody else question? And we'll go to one last question here. Go ahead.
Do you think fraternities and sororities are considered cults?
In a way, I would say,
Interesting.
because I wanted to pledge, I would just say, I wanted to pledge Delta. I thought they were just amazing and I love what they stood for. But I would say, I think so because my thing is this. It's like, oh, you can't sit with me because I'm a Delta and you're AKA. Oh, you can't sit
That's
with
the people,
me because
yeah,
you're an SG row. You know what I'm saying? The reason why fraternities and sororities, and these are the black ones, the reason why they were created, you know, because they have others that are not predominantly black. They were created because when in the 1900s, we're talking about 1920, 1930, when, you know, when blacks would go to school, they weren't allowed to join the white sororities. You know what I'm saying? Or
Okay, so
fraternities. So
black.
they created their own. And what it stood for was not the hazing, and it stand for that. They stand for community service. They stand for,
Yes,
you know, to
originally.
reach out, you know, originally to reach out to others to help with the community. And, you know, this day and age, not all of them, not all the people, a lot of them have made it into something so different. So it's not for that. It was for community. So I would just say, just do your research. Please do your research if you want to join a fraternity or sorority.
I just wanted to tag
I'm
on what
almost
you're
done.
saying. I would say like my dad is alpha and my goddad's alpha too, and a lot of your great friends are fraternities. But I mean, I know hearing some of the stuff that there's a lot of stuff that went on back in the day, and that's kind of like why they're not as engaged in it anymore. But they still have that bond. But what I will say is like really, I feel like the cliquish stuff is mainly in undergrad. Like I know a lot of people that pledged after and grad chapter, and they
Oh yeah,
are like, you know,
I'm in favor of
it's a whole
that.
different experience.
I'm in
So
favor of that.
just keep
Yeah.
that in mind. Like if you want to do it, I mean, I have people now that are like 40 pledging Delta and all these other things. So like just keep that that in mind. Like, if you don't want to go through the stuff in undergrad, there's always grad chapter to consider it, and then you have more time to research and look into it. But that's just my experience. I know, like, dealing with some friends that pledged, they were very cliquish and they really changed, which turned me off, and that's why I didn't do it. But just keep that in mind. That's available to you too.
It is. And I think just really be connected with like the school and like, you know, join, they have different clubs, whatever school you go to.
In fact, that's a great transition.
Yeah.
That's what she's going to
that's what she go. Okay, yeah, they have different clubs. Join that. And I know a few of the people that helped me, of course, Deacon was every step of the way. Because he spoke with my mother so I can change my major because I wanted to be a doctor. I was a Grey's Anatomy fanatic. I wanted to be a doctor and I was crying to Deacon like I can't pass this chemistry and it was super tough. And he was like, Sanisha, you love helping people. Let's try psychology. So I, you know, have my degree in psychology. And then when I connected with the associate director of the social work department, I received my master's in social work.
Social work.
And so now I work for a nonprofit, but I'm contracted with the VA. So I work with veterans to help them get a house that are homeless. So just pray. Stay connected. He is your advocate. I mean, after I went to Cal State San Bernardino, a couple of other students went. I don't know if I'm the only one that graduated from there. It's probably
two others.
Okay, yeah. So two others graduated.
In fact, you're going to hear about one of the other ones. There's something I'm going to tell you about.
Okay. So, just stay connected to him. And if it wasn't for like my counselors, he was a Black man, and then I had two other women. They were Black women, and I stayed connected with them. You know, they helped me with my roommate situation. They helped me with just choosing the classes, picking the classes. So stay connected. You know, make friends, venture out. Everyone is scared that's a freshman. If they're saying they're not, they're definitely lying. You are going to be scared, but it's doable. I did it. I'm older than you guys. So you guys, this is such like nostalgia. Like, oh my gosh, I was in your seat before, so I know. I'm only telling you from experience. I've been through the roommate situation. I've been through the switching your major. I've been through all of that, the partying, all of it I've been through. But it's doable, and you just have to trust in God and get with people that are like-minded, that have the same interests as you, that want to see you succeed. That want to see you guys succeed and that you want to succeed, and stay connected with your parents. So that's it. If you guys have any other, okay.
How long was it before you realized you wanted to change your major?
It was probably about, after
second
the first,
semester?
yeah, about the second semester. When I know I wasn't passing that chemistry class. And some professors will say some mean stuff. Like, he was like, oh my God, you don't know how to do this math? It's like algebra. And so I called Deacon. I'm like, I think I'm dumb. And he's like, no, you're not, Sanisha. Math just was never my strong suit.
Yeah.
English was,
That's
but
why
math
she came
wasn't.
to us originally.
And Deacon is like trying to be like, oh, I was a history. He started here as being a math tutor. This man, he helped, like I came to him, I was 15, and he tutored me in math. You remember? And then I brought my brother who was a senior, and then my sister came, and then my
friend, Jasmine. Yeah.
He started as a math tutor, so
That's
because of him, I was able to get through high school because I was taking calculus and all of that stuff, algebra 2. This man was deep in math. I mean, he is a brain. So utilize him when you go to college because he's still gonna be there. I always tell him he was like my surrogate father. Yeah. But he started out as a math teacher and now he's doing this. So his passion was history. He was an engineer. Started out as a math teacher here at West Angeles, and now he's teaching you guys. And he's the founder of the Education Enrollment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Education Enrichment. So just utilize him, and it's okay to be scared. You guys are gonna do great.
All right, give her a hand. Now you can go to that certain appointment that I don't want to say. I don't want to say it on film. There's a certain appointment that's very important in her life that I remember what it's by.
Bye,
Tell Rashad I said hi. I was trying to get Rashad.
I will.
All right, so okay. I just want to do this little spot here on this next one. Then I want to have her come to talk about activities. Okay? And it looks like we're going to get out early, so it's a good thing. More about housing, roommate tips, part 3. When the university sends the roommate information, please, you make the first contact. Don't have you all just at their house, they're wondering, Mom, what's he gonna do? Hey, what's they gonna do? You be the one to make that first contact, right? Okay. They're gonna send something to both y'all. Don't wait to be contacted. Social growth, this is a social growth opportunity for you. Meeting somebody new. What if I'm nervous about living someone who is a different race or sexual preference? It's still a social growth opportunity. They could put you with someone who's gay. But I always tell students, here's the thing. You ready? The thing is, you need to understand about tolerance and approval. Jesus knew. Jesus knew. Apparently he knew, because he stopped them dudes from stoning that prostitute. So apparently he understood it. Now, he did tell her, go and sin no more, but that's not your job. That was Jesus. We have to learn to be tolerant and not approving it. You know, I don't do it in my life, but I can tolerate and love you. That's a valuable thing to learn in college. That's something they don't teach in the classroom. That probably, now that I said it, it won't. But they'll certainly be a different race. I'm just telling you all that. When you go to black school, they'll put you with an international black student. They're trying to find, they got a lot of South Asians that are dark skinned. You're going to be one of them. Because they want to try to get you to understand how to get along with other people. And they want them to get to know you. Okay? More about that later. Concerns are understandable, but students can and should try hard to overcome. One last point, I'll bring her. Your parents have strong opinions on this. Some of your parents might say, if you have a white person, they want you to get a new roommate. I need you to tell your parents, no, I want to do this. Right? I'm going to do this. I can take care of things. All right? Now, you heard Sanisha talk about activities, being in activities. We talked about it last week, and we can pass this other stack. Well, give it to our parent. A special presentation on activities. It won't be on the chart, but
it's on the slides. Okay.
Yeah, on the slides.
Hi everyone, my name is Brianna Peters. For undergraduate, I went to San Diego State University, got my degree in journalism. For graduate school, I went to CSU Northridge, got my master's in public administration, and then lastly, I got a certificate in college admissions and career planning from Cal. So I went to a lot of California schools, and so I have a lot of experience in that. But what I'll be talking to you all about today is extracurricular activities. I'm actually a former student leader, so I was involved with a lot of different student organizations throughout high school and elementary school, high school, college, and so I have a lot of experience in that area. And so essentially, what I wanted to start with is like, what are extracurricular activities? Basically, there are different organizations, teams, or recreation that's not a part of the regular school day and outside of the school's curriculum. So there's different ways that you can get involved and do different things, and it could take place during the school day, outside of school hours, or on the weekend. So I know a lot of you guys are involved with athletics, so that's an example. Also, I was in music. I played the violin from 4th through 12th grade in orchestra, and so that was one way that I was involved in K through 12. So why is it important? It allows students to learn how to balance outside activities and schoolwork. Also, school admission staff, when they see that a student is well-rounded, they often see it through extracurricular activities. It also shows that you can handle college work and your activities at the same time. Because when you're in college, you have to do multiple things. And so they want to know, like, can you handle the academics along with the extracurricular activities? It also provides you an opportunity to grow as a leader, make friends, and learn a new skill. I would say, like, I grew the most in college at San Diego State being a student leader, because it gave me so many opportunities to grow and to basically learn more about other people and grow skills and confidence. So what are some examples of extracurriculars? Number one, you have your academic clubs. So you have like the Latin club, science club. I was a part of a National Honor Society called Mortarboard National Honor Society, and it's on campuses throughout the country. And so we basically, like, the whole experience is like you get chosen your senior year, they come into your classroom with caps and gowns, and then they consider tapping you into the honor society. So they announce you in front of the class, and then they're like, okay, you're in this honor society. And basically, you're in it, and you can be a part of the alumni group. So that's something to check out for if they have that on your campus. Also, there's arts clubs, so there might be like anime club, excuse the typo, a photo club or painting club. So those are just some examples of art. I know I'm really into art, and so those are just ways to get involved. Cultural organizations. This is where I really got involved on campus because I'm all about, I know it's a sting word right now, but I'm all about like basically like, you know, just including everybody and diversity and all that beautiful stuff that we have. And so different examples of cultural organizations are the BSU, Pacific Islander Student Organization, or MECHA. Those are just like 3 types of organization that you can be involved on campus. I think they're really important because it teaches you how to take pride within your own community, but also to learn about the beauty of other people's communities as well. We talked briefly on this Greek organization. So there's Interfraternal Council. So that's basically, I believe, that is for the fraternities that are usually not the African American fraternities. You have National Panhellenic Council, which is like the Black Fraternity Council or Black Fraternity Sorority Council, which are 9 different organizations, NPHC and National Panhellenic Conference. I believe that's mainly for like the women's sororities. And so those are just different types of Greek organizations. Like I said, personally, I was not involved with Greek organizations, but I have a lot of friends who were, and it's something to look into. And like I mentioned, like if it doesn't work out in undergrad, you can always look into it at grad school or after you graduate. So just keep that in mind. Also music. You can, like myself, you can be involved with orchestra or band or glee club. Like people, I wanted to play the violin in college, but then I decided I wanted to have more free time, so I didn't do it. But that's a great way to get a scholarship if you want to play an instrument and get into school that way. Also, like if you go to HBCU, that's huge culture, especially the band. Also, there's sports like basketball, baseball, soccer, tennis. That's another way to get involved. You could also do intramural sports.
Yes,
So you might not necessarily, you might not
That's huge.
necessarily be on the school's team, but you can play on the side and do things like that. So how can you get involved on campus with extracurriculars? One thing you can do is you can attend club day. Like usually at your high school they'll have it, but at college campus there'll be a tabling event where you can go around and talk to different student leaders on campus. Or tables at orientation too. Usually student leaders will be there talking to students. You could ask friends about extracurricular activities. Like if you see a friend that's involved in an organization, like I might want to go. For example, the Black Student Science Organization at SDSU, that's an organization I'm still plugged into like 20 years later. And so a lot of my friends were involved with BSSO, and I was like, I want to hang out with them more, so I'll go to the meetings with you, even though I wasn't a science major. You could also discuss with your school counselor and see basically if they have any ideas of how you can get involved and to plug into things. Also check out the social media accounts for different organizations on campus. Like we didn't have that back in my day. We didn't have Instagram and things like that, but now you do, and so you can get an idea of what people are doing. And then just something to add that I wanted to add here is, just make sure that you're really like staying connected with people. Like for me, after college, I was like, man, I really want to get plugged into stuff because I was super involved at San Diego State. I wanted to make friends, so I got involved with different organizations around town. Like we have the LA Urban League Young Professionals, and they're like 24 to 40-year-olds. Yeah. And so 21 to 40-year-olds. So right after college, you can join it and make friends that way. And then also I was like, okay, I would still want to stay involved on campus. So I joined my alumni board at San Diego State, and now I'm the president of the alumni board this year. Yeah. And so that's just a way to say, like, if you start off as a student leader, there's still opportunities to continue growing and staying connected. And I found that my student leadership experience to help me get to like a senior manager at my job because I learned all these skills, and I just look back at my life and see how they're all like stepping stones to get to where I am now. So if you're a student leader now, I encourage you to stay involved and stay connected because that's how you'll meet friends and grow confidence, and you never know who you might meet through these opportunities. So, Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
Well, when would you recommend joining all of the clubs and stuff? Would you recommend waiting and then joining, or joining your freshman year?
I think I was crazy. I joined my freshman year. I took on a student leadership. I was like the public relations chair. And so you don't have to necessarily take a leadership position, but I would say join an organization, even if you're just a general body member, because then you'll get to meet people and you'll be like, you'll just get to meet people. But like myself, I was kind of different where I was like, I want to join the Pacific Islander Student Organization and be different, and like they embraced me and they were like, okay, Brianna, like come to our stuff, like they had food, they had all these really cool stuff. So I say join other people's stuff too and get to know what they're doing because that's how you make friends across culture too.
Are internships considered as extracurricular activities?
I wouldn't necessarily say so. I don't know, Deacon Wilson, if you think
They're
so.
important.
They're important.
They're another part of your being
Mhm.
in college, for sure. I cut out the video, that's what I told you. I would have told you, I'll do it in a video. 16 things you need to do to continuously increase the affordability of your parents. But this is specifically about you getting socially involved on the campus.
I will say I had 3 different internships in college. One was with their cross-cultural center. I was a programs intern. So I created like cultural programs that we had throughout throughout the year with different cultures. Then I also was a grants intern at the Port of San Diego. And that was a paid one. And then also a marketing intern there too, which was paid. So that was like a part-time job, but still an internship as well. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good way to meet people. I've never
Yeah, make
thought
friends.
that way, but it's another good way
Yeah.
to meet people, for sure.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Did you have a comment on any of this? I got a follow-up question if you don't say what I want you to say.
I know. I recommend definitely joining something because they will have club day, like the first day of school. I do recommend. I was different. I had a goal when I went into college. I was like, I want to do something different, and I joined the rowing club at UCLA.
Yeah.
And I met a lot of people. I met a lot of people, and it was like a really
You
great
said what I
time.
wanted you to say.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I definitely would recommend. And definitely doesn't need to be, of course, you're thinking it might have some time management, especially with like meeting days and stuff like that. You don't need to go to everything, but at least taking time to get to know people or even going to things. It's just like an easy way to know people around campus, as well as you might meet people who are in the same class as you as well.
What was you guys like practice?
I would wake up at 4 a.m.
Uh-oh.
in the morning, and we would get out at 8, and then we have breakfast, and that's when I'll go to class. So
Crazy.
that was
I like it.
I would wake up at 4 a.m. every day and go to rowing practice, and then
Where
come
would you get to have it?
Marines Array.
Oh,
I saw the social media post on that. Yeah, I saw
I
something.
just want to add one more comment
They
too
were really
about doing
crazy.
something different.
Crazy.
So I would also say don't be afraid to be the only Black student and stuff because like
Oh,
I mentioned,
I was
that's
the
fine.
only Black.
I know, that's-
because like with the honor society, like I was literally like the only Black girl in that honor society, but I didn't realize other people who were younger than me were watching me. And so after I graduated, a lot of people were like, oh, I want to join mortarboard. I want to do this because they saw that someone looked like them. So don't be afraid to do that. Also, after college, I joined the Anti-Defamation League, which we basically work with Jewish people and talk about like
Nice.
ways to fight anti-Semitism and things like that. And like I was the only Black person in that as well. But as a result, other people are like, oh, I want to do it. So don't be afraid to be the only Black person too.
Yeah, you have thank you so much, Brianna. Give her a hand, would you? So if you're and all of you are, as I look around, you're in majority white schools, you have a moral and ethical responsibility to fully integrate your school. I had a president at Boise State tell me, the last one before this one. I've been over there a long time, pray for me. But he called me in his office, so I finally get to meet Deacon Wilson. He saw his stuff. He says, you know, when I came here, I walked around this campus, and I had heard this story about him, and he was saying the story in front of me. I'm going, I could almost just finish the story for him. He said he walked around the campus and said, so what's the matter? He's the new president. Do we not clean it up enough? There's something wrong? He said, no. He said, everybody looks like me. Do something about it. He said, huh? Everybody looks like me. A white president. So when he called me in, he told me that story. And he said, look, he says, tell your students just get out there among them. Get in there, get involved. And so some of these people never were with Black people before, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And from that moment on, I pushed my students at Boise. And they've become leaders. A couple of them were leaders. I've had two, one was interim president, they've been board members, et cetera. They spread out. I think you should get involved. I think that's a good point you made, totally. All right, common roommate concerns, and we're moving down the track here. fully cooperate with the roommate selection process, would you? Fully cooperate with that. Back to my presentation, sorry. Yes, your roommate will not be black if you're not at a black college. Yes, they will not be black. Yes. So I'm going to say something very controversial here. Parents want you to be in black dorms, especially fathers. I'm opposed because I want my students to get to know white people. But it's not a sin. So what you got to do is do what she said.
Yeah.
What she said was very relevant to you. Because students in black schools don't have that opportunity. And you know what I found? Oh, glory. I never thought. See, these sessions help me to know what I see. I forget things I saw. I see I would say a high percentage of my black college grads struggle with interviewing for that reason. Right? So you know you're in a black dorm, so what she said was even more relevant. Get it?
I want to chime in really quickly. My sister went to Stanford and stayed in Enrichment, and that's the black dorm there. And so, like, she had a really great experience, but she also made friends that were outside of the dorms. Like we said, joined other organizations, but there's also that sense of pride that you get staying in that dorm because you're probably learning about things, about the culture and things like that, but try to make friends outside.
That's the message of activities.
Yeah.
Is it like with black dorms? Like, can anyone be like join the dorm? Like, can Hispanics? Asians?
So I'm supposed to tell you yes. I'll leave it at that.
Well, for certain instances, I had some friends during the
Go ahead.
tours, and there were actually, it was randomized, and there were actually white people in the dorms.
Yeah.
It just happened. It was just very random. I think there was just some spots that didn't get filled, and there were actually people who didn't sign up to be there were actually there.
They had openings and they got, okay, good.
Some people choose
Some
to.
people choose to too.
It just seems a little inappropriate to like,
Seems crazy.
This is an opinion thing, right? Opinion, say in my opinion.
in my opinion.
There you go. Okay.
Do they have black dorms at Boise State?
No,
Yeah, I thought so.
no, they shouldn't. They have enough black students to do that too. But I think that's one of the things about being there. My students come out of Boise State averaging 90,000 a year, 3 or 4 years out. And that's gotta be, you saw Sierra, it's gotta be because of those experiences they're getting. They're just different. Now, I have black students getting those experiences for sure, and black colleges for sure they're getting them. But just from where I sit, I'm seeing more readiness to go out and do interviews from students who have been around white people. This is a very candid discussion we're having here. So black dorm, okay, but let's get out and let's don't only be us's.
But that's how the workforce is. I mean, especially you live in California, you're gonna be working with all different types.
All
people.
kind of
So you
racist,
gotta
right?
learn, right, when you're younger.
That's one of the things I want to say here, but I'm Deacon Wilson, so I'll talk to you privately. Yes.
What are your opinions on co-ed dorms? Because my dorm's co-ed.
Do you mean fully co-ed or co-ed?
Co-ed.
Fully co-ed
Just
or
fully
being
co-ed.
like in your room there's a man?
No.
There are colleges like that.
No. Well, I don't know who my roommate is, but it's co-ed dorms and also it's communal shower rooms.
It's like floor, it's
No,
men,
the whole building.
floor is mixed.
No,
Yeah.
like, everything's
It's Berkeley. Berkeley's great. Okay. So
Yeah.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it, even if it's like the rooms where you have a room with 4 rooms in it.
You mean suites?
And it could be a woman here, a guy here.
That people opt into that, where they have
They opt in.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with opt in.
Really?
It sounds like it's to males it will sound like really good. I gotta really be careful here. Well, I'm gonna say it, I don't care. I think the fewer distractions you can have your first year, the better. No, so my answer to you is I think the fewer distractions you have the first year, the better. And I would defer to your coaches in this case. See what they
Well,
think.
they put all the athletes in one dorm.
Okay, so but then you have male athletes that can be in your room, right? I'm a dad, so I'm having trouble.
Is your building all co-ed?
So I like the ones where the floors are different
Well,
genders.
what about the rooms next to each other? Because we had like me and my roommate.
Rooms next, I don't have a problem.
Yeah, that's.
But I know what she's talking about, and she has a good question. It's a good question. I mean, if you have a big old big ones, big rooms where you have rooms inside the room, like that, and you have a common shower area. As a father, I don't like it. And she asked me what I thought, so I told her. She just asked me. Yes. I don't think it's the end of the world. I think I defer to your coaches. If they think that's okay, that's what you do. It's their scholarship money, you know. Yes.
The dorms aren't like that at Boise State, right?
No. No. And most of Hampton ain't like that. Yeah. Oh, nobody from Hampton here today. I always like to tell about Hampton. Hampton has a curfew for freshmen. Couple blocks, Tuskegee too. Clark used to. Curfew, you got to get back by a certain time. Yeah, you locked, and you got to go to security, and you get a mark in your record. They send a letter to your parents.
Boise State's not like that.
Just want to clarify. Your son, no, but there's an inconvenience. If you come back at a certain hour, you're inconvenienced. Just call them. They'll come. Security will come to you. Yes.
Just to circle back and just to speak about the workforce and being flexible and open, you guys want to practice interviews as often,
Oh yeah.
as much as possible, even if it's just to go to an interview, start knocking them out early, because that will, it's not a skill that I was told about, and it's not shared throughout. I'm not going to say all colleges, I'm not going to say all advisors, but if you guys could get into interviews and different areas, different fields, just to get the flow of them and practice, once you get into that rhythm of going to these interviews and especially expanding your relations with other ethnicities, other cultures, that will help you when you meet these other corporate or workforce.
Yeah, that's the
people
message.
interviewing you.
Yeah.
You'll find these little things that will come up that you could relate to them, and it's just little talking points sometimes that will come up in an interview that will help you relate to other things that you probably wouldn't have been able to if you didn't take on that experience.
Yep.
So expand your your relations with other ethnicities, and I'll tell you that because I'm Hispanic, and I've gone through all different kinds of jobs where I've had to deal with all different types of races, and it has helped me, but at the same time, I learned it late, and not dealing with different races, it kind of was a crutch in the workforce. So be very mindful of that, and join clubs like they say, and be open, be very open.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you, Sergio. Career Services does mock interviews all the time. Just be aware of that. They put you in different situations and get you that experience. What is that out there? Is that Lenise and them? Oops. Look what I did by accident.
Or also informational interviews help too.
I'm not using my accurate. Go ahead. And what'd you say?
Informational interviews.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that in college, but just going, like, you know, someone who's like maybe an engineer, just sitting down with them for a cup of coffee. And
Sure.
Just picking their brain, that helps.
Mm-hmm. All right. So be aware of this about roommate. Sometimes a roommate may be a gay husband. Some schools will do that. Don't freak out. Right? No need to freak out. Relax. Be calm. Some schools are less likely than others. Like I said, tolerance and approval. During orientation calls, emails, or even move-in, please ask about common components of the room, microwave, refrigerator, etc. Key things to be aware of. No visitors to the dorm, not even boyfriends or girlfriends. That's usually a rule, but that's always broken on colleges. It never leads to good. This is where you need this again. If you don't want your roommate, so I get this call from college every semester. I got a call from a young lady. It was at Fullerton, actually. She called me one night. I said, "What's up, Sam?" She started whispering. She said, "There's a guy in my room." I said, "Is it yours?" She said, "It's my roommate's. He's in my bed." And I said to her, I thought about the backbone. That's when I added the backbone thing. I said, "Why are we whispering?" She said, "Deacon, can you help me or not?" And I said, can you stay somewhere tonight? And then tomorrow you'll tell the RA, oh my God, I can't tell the RA. I said, yes, you can. I said, don't call me back. Click. I called her mom up and said, let me handle this. And you do not, like I know you will do, sister. I know her name. Don't handle it. It's her problem to deal with. Because I'm telling them that's her problem. But she did it. She called the RA up. The person that done that in another dorm before, another year, they got put out of the school. So I think you got to stand for yourself. Yes. If it doesn't, okay. You know what I always say when somebody says that? I'll say it means they put off the RAA or something. I'll say, what did the provost say? What did the president of the university say? What did security say? See, that's what you're going to learn in life. That's what you have. Now, these things they don't come up often, but they come up. They come up, and you're going to be tested to grow to the occasion and push back. No situation is unsolvable.
I was saying, what if that situation doesn't happen with the person being in somebody's bed? Like, what if it's just like a normal situation?
Oh, other situations, like they're smoking dope in the room?
Or it's like a regular situation.
Give me one. Give me an example.
No, because you said you don't think that anybody should ever have their girlfriend in their room?
No, I do not think that. Deacon Wilson and West Angeles Church of God in Christ does not think that. But other men will tell you, fine, go bring your girl in. But Deacon Wilson has got to say things he knows will make it for life. More on that at the end of this. I have a special segment at the end for that. But no, I don't think why is it in the reg not to? It's usually in all the regs not to do that. Because they know it could lead to issues, like the two of your roommates fighting each other. Anyway, the big message here is there's some things you'll have to take care of yourself. And this is why it's good the first day you're in a dorm with a roommate to make some agreements. Most RAs make you sign a mutual agreement anyway on things you're going to agree to. Maybe you all will agree to bring girlfriends in. Where they're going to sleep, what kind of things will happen. I was very careful. But that's all got to be pre-agreed to. And once those rules are broken, there's a problem. Yes?
Sorry to interrupt, but I keep on thinking of things. But my roommate and I made verbal agreement not to bring boyfriends into the room, and that made us both feel comfortable because we didn't want to make the other person feel uncomfortable. And so that's something else. If there's not a written agreement, you guys do a verbal one. So.
And their place is off. Never mind. Okay, I better leave that alone. Drugs and drinking equal no. Get you a lot of trouble on campus. Study times. You got to start wondering, am I going to study in the dorm or am I going to have a special place on campus? These are things you and your roommate need to talk about. Because you with me, I'm playing Earth, Wind, and Fire. I guess I got to use my earplugs. I ain't getting no amens. Okay, all right. That's fine with me. Yes. Mean 3 people in a room? I feel if your parents say do it, do it. That's where I'm at. Because they're the ones controlling the budget. Now, you asked me the wrong question. I would have asked me, Deacon, help me in my negotiation with my parents. I'm good at that.
No, it wasn't even my choice to have a triple room.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Oh, that's all that's left, right?
Yeah, that's all that's
left. Oh, yeah,
yes.
What
do you think is better, a double or a triple?
Does it even matter? In your situation, was there a chance to get a double? Freshman year. I want to make sure you get that.
That's when everyone's all together and everyone's in the same environment. I feel like my floor was very active because there was a lot of people.
I forgot about that. There's certain dorms on campuses that people assume, I don't want to live there. But they're the best dorms for retention, like 100% retention to the next year. Because you're meeting people. It's proving our point. So the good thing about that, unless y'all room is only about this big and all 3 of y'all sleeping in the same bed almost, and that's a problem. But otherwise, having 3 in the same area is not a problem. It's doable. And the question the real question is, that's a very interesting question. The real question is, would I rather live 3 in my dorm or go to 2-year college? That's a real question. I'm serious. I'm super serious right now. That's the question, Solomon. If you'd rather do 2-year and avoid that, that's what you do. That's not necessarily a parent-friendly answer, but that's the answer. But, you know, they're 3 brothers, so y'all are brothers. Y'all in the same, you said it was a black dorm. Should work out. 3 brothers. All right. Food. Real quick, I'm gonna run through food. Remember, food is very, very expensive now. You probably do not eat 3 full meals a day. How many of y'all eat 3 full meals while you're at home? You always eat 3 meals. Okay, right. That's normal for 12th graders. It's normal. But parents feel like you gotta have 3 meals a day. You don't need 3. Here's what I recommend. You forget the 21 meals per week. 10 to 14 works. Any meals, particularly at colleges where you can use the money at other places to snack and graze. You guys graze. Make it sound like I'm telling you like an animal. You're not an animal, okay? But you graze. You don't like eat everything. You know what I'm saying? You go here and there, and that's fine, okay? So sometimes you get an extra bucks. You can use your card anywhere on campus, things like that. But 10 to 14 works. Any meals not used at semester end are not carried over. So if you get 21, you only use 1 or 2 a day, you've wasted hundreds of dollars, right? It's easy to deposit dollars to a food plan and add to the account if needed. So your parents can add money to your account. I've come to campus, I've blown into campuses and surprised students visiting on campus. It's toward the end of the semester. They're like saying, Deacon, come on, we'll pay for your lunch, man. I got to use this up. Deacon, don't you want another meal with us? Come back for dinner. They want to make sure that I'm going like, well, come on now. Got to keep this thin, athletic figure I got. What are you laughing at? Stop it. It's easy to deposit. Please join the Recreation Center to avoid the so-called Freshman 15. That's the 15 pounds supposedly freshmen gain. All these campuses are great rec centers now. You know, roll on in there. Yes, I got it. I'm one to talk, right? Yes.
What is the freshman 15?
Pounds.
Oh, you gain weight?
You definitely do gain weight.
Why?
Why?
Because of all the processed foods, you know, and like Deacon Wilson was saying, those 3 meals a day, you're like, I gotta use this money, you know, and you end up like gaining it. I thought I was gonna avoid it, but I ended up gaining it because you're just gonna eat out, you know, at like Panda Express and all these other places, and you don't have a kitchen, so it's really hard. So like once you get a kitchen, you can cook for yourself and control that more. Okay, well then definitely
As a freshman, you want upper class, you will. They want you, here we go with the social thing. They want you to have to go out of your room and go somewhere to eat because you're going to meet people.
There's free food places too.
Oh yeah, you got opportunities like that too. You're going to see that. You're going to see that. And they'll announce it. They'll announce it, you know.
Here, so you take advantage of that and you end up getting the freshman 15.
But you meet people, so, you know.
I have the highest meal plan, and
I believe you.
Yes.
'Cause remember, I know your mother really well, right?
Yeah. I have the highest
That's
meal plan.
hilarious.
I had so many swipes left over. I was just like, I was really just talking to
Hey,
people.
can I feed you?
Want a free meal? I can swipe you. I was swiping my teammates. I was swiping everybody because I had so many left over.
What I'm gonna do is let's probably should give you a chance to go to the restroom or something, right? You guys need a break because I can do the finish in 30. Get you out of here quicker if I don't have it. Some good stuff coming up too. All right, let's do it. Let's see if we can. Let's soldier through. Books and technology. Get used books. Usecheck.com. That's my favorite one still. There's other used book places too. On exclusive university books, wait until the day of class before you purchase. Because you might get in there and the teacher will say, hey, don't buy the book. I got you covered. Ooh, if you bought that $200 book, right? So when it's a really expensive book, just wait it out. Use it in the library. I have the book too. Just hold on, chill out, see what happens the first day of class. Of course, Amazon, look online using the ISBN. I have a video I'm going to send you on this. Dell, Apple, and who's AP? Have huge deals. Yes?
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, I think probably 12:30 is what I was aiming for. I wish you get the last part of this too. We're going to finish early. That's why I'm not sitting out for food, you notice? T-Mobile and Verizon have nice deals for 1 year college students. First year college students, just roll in there if you need a new phone. So let them know. I think that starts around July 1st. Preventing stop out. What is stop out? You know what it is. You leave college usually as early as after the freshman year because you just can't come back. There's different reasons for it. On my program, it tends to be very consistent, the reasons. If a student does not get a 2.0 and 12 credits the first semester, the student will be placed on probation for the second semester. So if you don't get a C average, you're on probation. If you're playing sports, they won't let you play.
What's probation?
Probation means you do it again, you're gone.
So that's like your first semester.
Yes. So if you do not get a 2.0 and 12 credits the first semester, the student will be placed on probation and you'll be told, second semester, if at the end of the year you're not 2.0. So say you're 1.5 the first semester. You need to understand you need to be 2.5 the second semester. If you're 1.0, you need to be 3.0, or else at the end of the year they will not ask you back.
So, say if this happened like the second semester, so would that transfer over to?
So I have to know what the first semester performance was.
So say if it was a 3.5.
If you're 3.5 the first semester, then you get a 1.5 the second semester. 3.5 plus 1.5 is 2.5. You seem to be okay. Now, we got to be careful about credits, though. Do you have at that point 24 credits? Because if you don't, they will tell you go to 2-year college and come back. I've seen students with 3.4 GPAs but are on probation because they're not making their credits, not making progress. Yeah, well, it can happen.
Is it because
Yeah.
some
Oh,
classes?
good.
Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
Go ahead.
Oh, aren't you
Yeah, I was
nice?
gonna ask, like, if
Go right back to
there's
you.
any way for you to make up the credits like during the summer, like how they have in high school, or is it?
So if you're going to put on probation, it's negotiable with the registrar. They may or may not allow it. I'll tell you right now, if you're an athlete, and I got two, if that happens, the coaches will come to you first. Because they'll remind you that a condition of your scholarship is that, you know what they're going to say. They're looking for a reason to remove that money. So it really is a problem when you don't get the academic performance. It really is. I guess I hadn't thought about how bad it could be, but it's negotiable, right? If you say, hey, I'm going to take it in the summer, now you got to hope that your coach will agree. They may have plans for you in the summer. They may be traveling to Europe. There's all kinds of things they do in the summer. So may have a tournament in Mexico, anywhere. You know, anything could be happening for the growth and development of your team. Go ahead.
So I have a question. So for every class, will they have different credits for those classes?
Yeah, so, well, credit hours. So some classes are 4 credit hours, some are 2 credit hours, some are 1 credit hour. Yep, you have 1 credit hour classes. So those classes with 4 and 3 are more heavily weighted, aren't they? Because if you get a D in a 4 credit class, that's really pulling your GPA down. If you get it in your 1 credit class, it's not pulling it down as much. So that is a very good question. Obviously, I didn't cover it here. They all aren't the same amount of credit hours. So there's that problem too. There's that as well. Some classes is worse of a problem to get a lower grade in than others. Hey, just understand this. If you get straight D's and a C, you are on probation. You're on probation at that point. And now you're going to have to work super hard the next semester to stay off it for the year. Yes?
Would you recommend like not dropping, or like switching out the class?
So I recommend continuously, well, we'll see in a minute. Part of it was last week with Corliss, right? I'd recommend you continuously are going to the academic center, asking those questions, getting help when you see you're getting in trouble the first semester. You can feel it happening. A lot of times, ego doesn't allow it. There's a tendency of humans, me too, to think I can always work it out myself. But I think if you catch it early enough, you'll be okay. Now, do people catch it? No. If they don't, and they get that second letter, the first letter is definitely a warning. But the second letter is the one you don't want to get. We call it the death penalty, right? Because 90% of students will not come back when they're stopped out. They'll do another school. They'll finish a different way. They may go to work first. It changes your life. I would say that and getting pregnant change your life more than anything else. And guys getting ladies pregnant change it. They all say it won't change them, but it does. It does. And that's one of those things. So stay off probation if you can is the thing. I don't feel like I answered you, but I think that was such a good question. I couldn't. So, to be fair, it was such a great question. It was unanswerable. Yeah, I mean, you theoretically could catch it in time and drop it. But what if you already have 13 credits? You drop it. Now you're in trouble because you didn't get 12 credits. It's not as easy as you think. Because these schools will give, somewhere else I've told you, don't let them give you only 12 credits. Make sure you have 15 credits or more. So if something goes wrong, thank you very much. Now I can bring it in. If something goes wrong, you can drop that class. Now also, you may have gone, if you saw last week, I told you to go to summer school for general ed classes. So if you run into trouble, you can then drop a class of no problem. But if you didn't do the summer classes like I suggested, that's an issue. See, I feel like people in two-year college have an advantage here because you're just going to go ahead and go in the summer. It's easy to do. And your counselors are more likely to tell you to do it. I think it's a whole different situation. But also with four-year college students, you can self-correct. Hey, in the summer, I'm going to take at least one GE, right? I think I put some of the GE ones up earlier in a different context. If a student fails to raise the GPA to 2.0 and 12 credits, they'll be asked to leave the college for a year. Usually it's a year, sometimes it's one semester. But then things like losing your housing could happen, right? So it really makes it become a year. Because you're gonna give up your housing spot. How to prevent this? Academic center, like I mentioned earlier. Campus fellowship and activities. Oh my God. I feel that students have higher grades when they're involved in the campus. If they're budgeting your time, like Corliss said last week, shout out to Corliss. If you're budgeting your time and doing the things she said with the syllabus ahead of time, she covered last week, I think you will easily see that activities can help you. You'll feel more belonging. People will check on you. They'll give you ideas. Get involved. Also last week's session, right? That really was the better answer to your question. Sorry. Forgive me. Go ahead. Do you want to say something?
Oh, no.
Were you like stretching?
No, I was agreeing with you because at first my parents were like, I got my first D on a report card ever in college my freshman year.
Woo.
My parents, yeah, that was really bad. And my parents were like, do not get
Your dad? Oh my God. Are you okay?
Yes.
You got through that?
So
Okay, yeah.
my mom and dad were like, stay out of activities. So they knew I was really involved. But then I kind of snuck around and stayed involved in activities. But I ended up getting the highest leadership award on campus. And my grades were really high because I learned how to balance the two. So I agree with that.
Yeah, I totally. That's why I think student athletes in general, student athletes can have better grades than the average student because you're used to balancing this crap. Right? Do you have a meet this week? Let me start now. What can I say? All right, remember there are two uses for a two-year college, credit recovery enhancement, like we're talking about now, right? Start this summer even as suggested. Then of course, for others, it's an alternative to the first year or 2 years of college, which is why I was super serious when I told Solomon. We had a super serious discussion on this two months ago, right? Where I said, wow, you got in the CSU. I'm all like, oh, I'm getting all giddy. And she's like, well, wait a minute, Deacon. I'm not sure I want to do that. I have this and this I want to do in year 3 and year 4. I said, oh, wow. It's another way of looking at it. So we got to remember there is that. It's not the end of the world to go to. Now, parents don't agree with that. They feel if you go to 2-year college, you're going to fail somehow. No, my history has been most students that I've seen go to 2-year college, they come out same amount of success as other places. El Camino, Long Beach and LA City, I like them both. Class registration, we hit already, I think. I'm not going to get to, these are some of the classes we talked about for first year students. I'm going to make sure I hit it again there. Remember 16 to 18 credits a semester? You saw these last week, but I included them here again. English is going to be, here's an example, U-Life. This is an example which you might see the first year. I want you to add 2 to 3 GE classes in summers in general. So next summer, maybe not this summer, you should take 2 to 3 classes in the summer. That would lighten your load, and if something goes wrong, oops, you're okay. That first semester, you're okay. Graduating 4 years, SAP we talked about. Here's why students stop out of college, then we get to our last topic. Insufficient funds for college. That is not, on my program, a predominant reason students stop out. It happens, but not as much on my program. Out there, it happens all the time. You have people that go on to school with you, they won't be back the next semester because of cost, right? Something changes, loss of academic merit or athletic scholarship, you lose that. Inadequate understanding of what it would cost and how payment would be. Some students return at Christmas time. Every Christmas, I get a student that's staying home. And it's usually because of this. Loans are too high, etc. Social conflict and detachment, depression, dysfunction. I see that about once a year. It can happen. Professional. Remember, you can always see somebody on campus. They have free counseling, counseling and therapy sessions for students. Most schools have put the pedal down on that. Usually 9 or 10 free sessions. That's plenty to help you. Everybody needs to talk to somebody sometime. Come on now. I hit a year in my life as an adult. I had to talk to somebody. Boy, I'm glad I did. Changed my whole perspective. And I'm not talking about talk to Jesus, talk to Jesus. I knew all that, but I need to talk to somebody to get my brain together, my thoughts together. Professional radicalization. This is a huge one. I had 2 students stop out last year because of this. Because some professor gets a hold of them and just floods their time, and they're very, very persuasive individuals. They couldn't get any work done. General lack of adjustment to living away from family. That can happen. Chronic physical or mental illness. These are problems that can occur that could cause stop out, I've seen. Lack of academic success. Student does not take academic preventative measures. So academic preventative measures are huge. She was sitting there, I'm like thinking, is there an earthquake? All right, okay. Let's talk about movements that you have to watch out for. Anti-Christian teaching, they talked earlier about cults. I was cracking up when y'all did that. Free speech, policing, restricted zones where you can't say certain things. I think we have that at Berkeley still. Some places in Berkeley, you can't say certain things. So be careful. They'll tell you in orientation. Pro-choice activism, that's huge. Anti-Christian regulation management. It was true at CSU for several years that the bowling team had someone who knew bowling. The astronomy team had someone who knew astronomy. The Muslims group had a Muslim over it, right? The Christian group had to open it up to everybody in the campus. And we stood against that. We blew it away. And now they can do what they want to do. But I'm just saying, regularly there's attack on Christians. It happens. It's just something that goes on because of what's going on in society. And yes, sir.
So you're against activism on campus?
Activism. I'm against violence on campus. Did you see the list of things? Did you see the list I had earlier?
No, I don't know.
Oh, earlier I put a list up of unacceptable activities. Okay, I'll show it to you in there. It's in there. If I'm against any of those. So after that, I'm in favor of demonstrations. I suggested that maybe your first year, be careful who you're around because you don't want to be associated with that. The goal is to finish college. Again, our parents, see, your parents, because we're in God, I've gotten old in this program. Used to be, I'd say our parents, because I was 40 years old. Your parents probably have a background where activism was encouraged. But read the news. The Overton window is shifting right now. So be careful you're caught up with. Be careful. Anti-Christian regulations management, radical fundamentalists, transgender acting. Nothing wrong with transgenders. But when they come around trying to recruit, okay. There's nothing wrong with transgender people. In fact, if any Christian says something hateful or angry about transgenders, they're not Christians. Stay away from them. However, I think you can tolerate without approving. tolerant, but not approving. In the case of this, you'll hear students that want to go protest that a hospital won't change kids into another gender. Personally, I think that's abhorrent to change kids' genders. That's the kind of activism you want to be careful about. Teachers may assign you to go to those things. I don't know. I know there's a lot of activism. But think about that. Activism itself is not wrong. It's if it, number one, agrees with your beliefs. So I don't want you to sacrifice your values. And number two, is it violent? Right? Okay. Now, I'd say the same thing to conservatives. Look, I had some students that were getting upset with me, called up. They were going to, what school was that? I'm going to tell you, okay? Liberty back there at Liberty's College. And it's a Christian school in Virginia. All right. They were calling me up saying, Deacon, should I go out with these people to block the abortion clinic? No. I'm consistent. I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, go block that. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. No. Get that degree and do whatever you want, player. Oh, sorry. I'm going too far now. That's my answer. And again, it may differ from your parents. It's okay. It's okay. I think you want to get through school, they'll be happy with you, cha-ching, that you saved them money. Don't be there extra year because of activism. Remember, goal in college is to graduate and get a job in 4 years or less. That's the goal. Yes?
How can you graduate early?
How can we graduate early? We covered it last week. 3.5 years. Summer school is the key. That's what we covered. All right. Now, I want to go to the relationship thing. I am going to share a video with you guys. Please look at the video when you get it about godly relationships. But this is some good stuff here. And you'll see my video on it. And what it's all about is, so you'll know, this is not about you in those view charts that you're going to convert the world to Christianity. That's not why we have apologetics, by the way. For those of you who know what apologetics is, it's not about converting people to Christianity. It's about knowing how to say a quick word to defend your beliefs. Because they will be challenged. Some professors are going to challenge it. So those charts that I went past are important. I have a separate video. I'm going to do it for another reason. Something was in the news today. I'm going to do it in terms of a video to you. Please watch the video. This, I believe, is the most super compelling. Could you close that door? That's Lenise, right? Wow. It's been Carrie saying, well, this is the last major topic I wanted. I didn't want to rush through it, which is why I'm covering it now, rather than skipping the other one. 7 reasons to abstain from sex before marriage. And notice something about listen to me, it's rational, logical to not have sex before marriage. And I say that no matter where you are on this. It's reasonable and logical. And I'm going to go through that right now. The odds are that if you're having sexual interactions or have one soon, that person will not even be your spouse. So now that's something else you carry into your marriage. But say, I'm not going to get married. How you know? How you know? What's going to be happening 20 years, 15, 20, 30 years from now? How you know? You don't know. This is my second marriage. And I said after my first marriage, Brianna, I'm just having to talk with Brianna in front of y'all. I said after my first marriage, I ain't getting married again to nobody. I'm married again. Listen to me. Marriage is the key to society and building families. No matter what you think about it now, it's the key to continuously improving society. It's the only thing we have. Why do you think there's such an attack on marriage? Logical. Pregnancy can highly alter your future. Years ago, I had a young lady. I'm do the guy thing in a minute. Maybe I should do the guy thing first. No, I'm gonna do the lady thing first. Sorry. I had a young lady. God bless her, and we're still close too, by the way. She was going to CSU Bakersfield, and she got pregnant. And I was going to go to visit. What was I going to the Bay Area for? Oh, visiting Sonoma. So I jumped off the Greyhound early and went to see her. This was when I was riding the bus. We were a poor, struggling program. So I had to ride the bus up and down and say, but now we fly, y'all. Anyway, so shout out to the bishop. Shout out to the trustee board. Shout out to the bishop. It is what it is. Come on. So I went to see her, and you know what she said? Listen to me. She said to me, Deacon, I'm pregnant, but I'm telling you, I'm going to get through in 4 years. I'm going to do this and do that. It's Deacon, I still can do it. Please don't be disappointed in me. Holy Spirit said, watch everything that happens from here forward. Poor thing, I got back to LA eventually. She's getting sick every day. The guy who she swore was going to be with her said goodbye. She called me up and said, life is over. I said, no, it's not. You have a baby, you needed love. I won't give you the whole story, but I saw her say this. It's going to change your timeline. You're going to have a branch timeline. If you saw Loki, you know what I mean. In fact, the people from the TPA should come back and get you before you lay down with them. People who saw Loki can get into that. If you saw Loki, raise your hand. Y'all know what I mean. Okay. It's a Nexus event when you slept with that man. I'm going to get to the guys in a minute. I promise I'll get to the guys in a minute. Because there's a second thing that goes on with guys. That's even probably a worse problem. But ladies, I'm telling you, it will alter your life. I had someone very close to me get pregnant. And she's just now seeing it. Since they're not married, it's changing. We'll talk about in marriage in a minute. It's important I talk about that. STDs. Do I need to read that one? There's some new ones now, I heard. Let's leave it at that. Listen to this. Premarital sex creates women who are inalterably bonded, I'll get to the young man, to a young man who is not ready for commitment or responsibility to a family. But yet there's a soul tie. I haven't had time to read the scriptures, but that's what happens. There's this tie to someone who's not going to care. Now, young men, the thing is that you get a cynicism about that relationships are just for pleasure. It happens swiftly. And when you have a child, you get someone pregnant. First of all, if you're fortunate enough not to be under parents like my parents, you're going to take care of that kid. Get out of school and take care. One parent did that. I had a guy that went to Boise State. He got this young lady pregnant. He was like, oh, it's going to be all right, Deacon. I looked at his parents. I said, ooh, I know them well. Let me just step back, get out of the way, because there's going to be some weapons of mass destruction flying in there. Sure enough, they went up there and pulled him out of Boise. And they said, you're going to take care of that child. And I think that there's a good ending to that story, because I saw on Facebook, he's taking care of the child. The child's graduating from high school. But how many parents do that and women are stuck with that baby? I think guys feel guilty about that too if it happens. Now I'll take questions. Make them short though. I'm keeping these kids here all day. Who
No, I was just gonna say really quick.
Yeah,
I
sure.
thought that, it's sad what happened. I think that's commendable because I feel like a lot of times I know stories of people got pregnant in college. The woman, she has to drop off. The man,
He gets to go on and finish. My God, from heaven.
Yeah, gets to do all these things and like not really be involved with the child. So I think that's very commendable.
He pulled him out of school.
Yeah.
She not getting it, you not getting it.
Yeah, I think that's very commendable. There needs to be more parents like that.
That dude, man, he was iconic, that father.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him the other day. Even I got scared when I saw him.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
I just, I feel I strongly have to speak on this topic, and I hope you guys hear me very loud. I have a 17-year-old son.
Yes.
His mom and I got pregnant at 21. I was barely on my second year of college. I was playing at Laverne University at a scholarship, and in a matter of, I would say, less than 30 days, my life changed dramatically.
Amazing.
I was not able to go to Laverne every day. me being a young, not responsible young man at that time.
Right.
Be careful. Be very careful. And to the young men in here, be very responsible. Be very focused on your academics. And I preach this to my son very heavily. And I told him where I failed as a man. I've shared my downfalls and the things I did wrong early. Don't get sucked into the temptation, the parties, the life, the women. It is real easy to go down that road and real easy to get lost, and it's so much harder to get back. There's this saying my dad taught me, is when you walk a straight line, the further you move away from that straight line, that path back to that straight line is so much harder. Don't do that to yourselves at an early age. Take advantage of your education, because being a young kid and raising a kid at the same time is difficult. And it's very challenging, and your commitment to college at that point and anything else will quickly change, and it's going to be focused on your child. And if you're not responsible as a man, I only speak on the man side of this. His mom was very, very disciplined. She worked to school. I don't know how she did it. I don't know how she did it, but she did it, and she knocked it out, and she was always tired, always sick. She had support around her. Not most, I can't say most have that type of support system. But when you don't have that support system, life will hit you, and life is going to life really hard and really fast.
Yeah.
So be very mindful. Be very mindful of what you do and what you get distracted to. Stay focused. It's so easy to get distracted.
Yeah, I know a lot about Sergio too. You know, he became Father of the Year. He won't say that. He didn't really get the title, but I'm just letting you know he became Father of the Year. But he had to grow into that. It is what he's telling you. That's what I learned today. That was cool. All right, let's finish up here. There's some good stuff here. 5, listen to this. It creates cynicism in young ladies about later men who are better and even good men. I've seen that happen so much. A guy does a lady wrong, and then here you come along. Oh yeah, we got some good guys here today. Good Lord. This is a very appropriate statement. Somebody like one of these guys comes along, and because of this, hey, we're saying, what's up, man? Because they had somebody like that earlier. And you coming in, you a good dude, and they won't give you time of the day because a cynicism is developed. Oh, God. Talk about 7 reasons to abstain from sex before marriage. These are all logical. There are no scriptures on these. There's no scripture here. I don't need no scripture. Now, I can give you some. At the end, I don't remember which presentation this is. Teaches and reinforces in young men, listen to this, that love begins with sex and that commitment is not necessary. How come NBA players average, you know what, I don't care anymore. NBA players averaging 6 and 7 kids on some teams, illegitimate kids by multiple women. That is not a man, that's a boy. That's a boy. They think they're all alpha. They think they're alpha, they're beta. Because they're driven around by their sexual desires. So I told you I get to the men. I mean, it's both of us. All us got to worry about this. So that's a good one. Having sex with someone while in high school or college can place young men and women in difficult situations that cost them educational time, which is what he was talking about. I told you about the young lady. I almost said her name. And she would agree with that. It's a whole different timeline. Does that mean we shouldn't love and care for the children? Absolutely we should. That's not what I'm here for. This is a college, how to get through college in 4 years, how to start your career presentation. It isn't what we should do with illegitimate or children that are born outside of wedlock. Why did God create sexuality then, you might wonder? Well, here's why we have sexuality and why at a young age you have sexual urges. Why is he giving me sexual urges, but I can't do nothing about it? Well, it's a biological problem, isn't it? We have to prepare you physically for your mate. Hallelujah. Whew, I like that one. Listen to this. If this one hit me only about 7 years ago. It was something that Bishop said in a message. He didn't say this, but it made me think about it. It provides emotional security for children within marriage. And I'll try to get through this. I think about myself. When I was a young man, my parents didn't get along. I don't think I've ever said it this way publicly. They didn't get along at all, Sergio. They were at war. And sometimes it got so bad, my father would leave the house. And I still feel sitting up in my bedroom in that house on Taylor Street, I hear the door open downstairs and my dad's back. I go, oh, my dad's back. And I listen to see if he's just going to go back out the door. But he starts to come up the steps. I'm going, oh, wow, he's coming up the steps. 16 steps. Two. I won't do all the steps. Gets to the top. Then I wonder, is he just going to go to the bathroom and leave? This is literally as a child, provide for the security of children within marriage. He comes down the hallway and I hear him open the door for my sister's room. I say, oh, maybe he's staying. Then he opens the door for my room. I'm pretending I'm asleep. He closes the door and their room was a left turn from mine, right? When he would turn the left turn, open that door up and go in and it closed. And they were fighting no more. I'm feeling emotional now. I realized that was going to be a good week because they're together. Provides for the emotional security for children within marriage. But haven't we perverted it as a society? It motivates men's survival and family protection. Hey, nobody better mess with my wife. I'm gonna bust him across the lips. What's that guy hit you across your lips? Is that Flip Wilson? Anyway, I give you one across your lips. That's too old for that. You're too young. Ask your dad about that.
Yeah.
Ask your dad what Flip Wilson said about hitting somebody across the lips. Okay. Because a man, protects what he owns. That's a man. These are just boys that are jumping from bed to bed. But society encourages it to make women sexual objects. It's the Diddyism of manhood. You know what I mean. This is why I don't like Diddy. Because it makes it seem so easy. The way he treated that poor woman. Provides for periodic renewal of the bond within marriage. Wow. It's a reminder of what happened. I'm seeing these, I've seen these before, but I'm seeing them in a way that's so appropriate to today. It's just not marriage is just something that's flippant. It's to be considered carefully. If you become or are sexually active, you are adversely affected when you finally marry. There's going to be things you have to overcome. All right, here's what young ladies should question about a guy. Don't worry, I get to what guys should question about a lady. I definitely will get to it. Number one, how does he act when he's angry? Whew. By the way, I might just add, I'm sure I covered on a later view graph, I'll skip it. Where you find out the answers to these questions, it's called interviewing. Dating is interviewing. Collecting data. Thank you. I would expect, based on your body language last week, when we were at a certain event together, I gathered from your body language, a lot of data has been collected.
You get to know yourself too.
She just got married, y'all.
Yeah, but I would say dating is I'm telling this to my friends now that are searching for someone. Don't just do it you guys are younger, to find people, but do it to learn about yourself too.
So dating is a cool thing because you get to find the answers to some of these when you're people. You want to ask them, what do you do when you're angry? No, just be around them. You'll see what they do when they're angry. How do they treat the waitress when the food didn't come? I'm What does they say about his mother? How are you going to be any different? I'll get to you guys in a minute. How's it going to be any different? It's probably not. All right. Sisters, too. That B. And when you see a guy doing this and you were liking him and stuff, too busy for you. The queen, you the queen. Nobody touches the queen. Nobody ever gonna touch the queen. So if you see tendencies toward anger, that's a guy that might be a problem. Let's continue on. We're almost done. What does he think and say about them? I covered that. What time does he want to call you? And it ain't to get the homework. Is he too physical? Will he leave if you stop? I'll get to the guys now. I promise you, I'll get to the guys. Is he at your life level or above? I went up to Sonoma State years ago and visited a young lady there and a bunch of students. She said, Deacon, I want to see you. Whenever I get these side meetings, I feel like, my spider senses go off. I really want to be there for the students. So she said, I want you to meet my boyfriend. I said, what time is he coming? I got a flight at, y'all know the drill. I got a flight at 7:00. She said, he's going to be here at 4:30. 4:45. 4:55. She said, let me go ahead and call him. She didn't have her cell or something. So she went into her office to call. And I see this guy coming, and I'm wondering, I'm not going to finish that story.
And I will say,
You know what I'm saying?
I get to say it. Sometimes it's harder for young women, especially if you're college educated or if you're trying to grow in your career, like with the dating, because I hate to say it,
It's
a lot
hard.
of men in here, but
No, go ahead.
a lot of times men can't handle that success, and it shouldn't be that way, but a lot of times that happens. So that's just something to keep in mind.
So that's why I hear.
Dating, try even if he's not, at the same career level you or whatever. If
Life
he has
level.
to be secure with himself. So.
Yeah, I say life level. I mean, maybe why I've had, 6 marriages from people on my program, meeting them here. Never know what's going to happen. I've married 2 myself. I've been the official in the wedding. Because they're people the same life level, all in the same place. It just happens that way. Why do my Biola students have the most trouble with their grades at first? Because you're with a lot of different people that are your life circumstance. That's what she's talking about. Get somebody in your life circumstance. And it may not be educationally the same. Not at all. That's why I was careful my words here. Does he love God the same one you do? I didn't even say, is he a minister? Hallelujah. Is he falling over on the floor? Does he have the same, kind of spiritual goals you have? Because you don't want to get down the pipe and find out they resent what you believe in. Yeah. You don't need to do all that. Think ahead. Is he clean living and clean looking? All right, here we go. Young men to consider. So I did it differently with young men. I said, here's what I want you to consider. I thought I would do consideration instead. Consider gratification of your sexual needs until marriage is the ultimate manhood. Jacob. What's the Jacob and Rachel? That's a man. He willing to wait 7 years for her. Ooh, that must have been some mama. Sorry, but anyway, he was willing to wait 7 years. Whew. Then you have, earlier in his life, Esau and Jacob. Esau gave away his birthright for some food. And I think that's very symbolic for men. If I had time, I would go through it more. But being able to control yourself is the ultimate, and be a protector of women. Women and boys can't control themselves. A man can, and in doing so, saves young women. You have to protect young women, protect women. That's what men should do, protect their women. Love and commitment are separate from sexual attraction. Stop trying to rescue people. I say that to women too. You can't rescue an emotionally damaged guy. And guys, you can't rescue an emotionally damaged woman. But that's counter to your instincts sometimes when you've been raised to protect and to help. Just like it's the same thing I say about a car if you have it. I think I said it last week. Well, I don't want some of y'all to have cars. Oh, yeah, all y'all, actually. Y'all are nice. That's why I don't want you to have a car. Definitely you, definitely you, definitely you. I think you now. Oh, yeah, definitely you. Wait a year on the car. You're going to be so nice. Monica, could you give me a ride to the airport? Could you give me a ride to the shopping center? Look how she smiles. She's so nice. She's so nice. You see that? Because you don't want to be, you want to be nice to people, right? But just be careful about that. That's kind of what's going on with this one. Sorry. Okay. Both of y'all need to watch for narcissistic traits. People that only care about themselves. And narcissism, many psychologists feel it cannot be healed. What do they think about their fathers? So much damaged fathers before you have done? Is this something you can work with? Okay? Here's your romantic timeline. We're just about done. I love this. Here's the timeline I want you to be on. Interviewing and abstinence. Remember, interviewing is dating. Dating is going out with people you might be looking at. And you know what for. And I know I'm in here saying things. I have a great TikTok. I listen all the time what people are saying. I know there's this belief that marriage is not the way. I get it, but something's going to change. Something can change. And you may see someone you want to be married to, interviewing in absence, dating in absence, okay. And then marriage, and I'll just do that in. Sorry, y'all. Lots of children. That's just me. Pray for me. What do you expect a coaching deacon to say? Senior year of high school, senior year of college, set in your career. Now, set is in quotes because I think people wait too long too. But that's another conversation for another time, another place, and I'll get to another. But this is basically what I see. And I would apply that same timeline to online stuff. Meet somebody online. Be careful about visiting people. Bring your friends as chaperones. Don't just go visit somebody. There's some onerous guys out there. Ladies, do not travel to meet a guy. Control your net use if your grades are not elevated. Notice I didn't say get rid of it, get rid of it, did I? Got to learn to control it, right? A lot of people in church think I'm crazy for not saying that. Follow the same timeline even with online relationships. Real quick, just a few social things and we're done. What about partying and drinking? I think about my daughter so much. Whenever I see this, I think about her. She used to be like the leader for a track team. Of course, she made her coach's heart stop when she left track in her third year. He said, "Oh my God, you're leaving." She was the leader of the team. And she would go out with her girls to parties. Well, by the way, I know some of y'all, Church of God in Christ, pray for me. But I don't tell people don't go to parties. I'm with the Apostle Paul. He said everything in moderation. Paul never said, he never did a lot of don't do this. He said moderation. But when you go to the party, my daughter used to go into the party, Sergio, and she would go, "If you know my daughter, you'll crack up." She smelled that kush. Going to Denny's. There's these off-campus parties. You can't have them on campus. Oh, police blow it. I got stories for you on that. Police blow in there. They say everybody takes the blood alcohol.
Yeah, I don't. Well, now that it's legal, I don't know how that works. But I know when I was in college, that.
Well, alcohol too. If you have in certain municipalities, it's not legal. Or they just say, "Let me check everybody's blood level," and they have a deal with the university. Do you want to hear that deal? They share the information. See, universities have to make a lot of accommodations to be in the city. You know, and there's certain laws to govern it. Because students before you have violated the law and done things. So now you're under these restrictions that you don't know if you're under them anyway. What about partying and drinking? Listen closely to this. Drugs and drinking, most serious addiction, unfortunately, begins in college. It should be in college. So about marijuana, which you heretofore be called Kush. I don't know what they call it now. I know I sound old. Everybody listening out there, I know I'm old. It's illegal in some states. It's illegal in every state in the South. HBCUs are all illegal. Now, do they enforce? Different issue. DC, they enforce. Tell you about the guy, this room got busted in. They know if there's marijuana, somebody's selling it. See, a school will allow that because they'll lose they don't let the police come on campus. They'll lose their federal aid. The federal financial aid system is built on certain agreements that people have. And you need federal aid to finish college. You're going to need it. So it's illegal in some states and a federal offense. See, it's federal too. On campus, possession by a roommate could get you in trouble. It could, depends on how much, right? If it's enough to sell, you could be in trouble too, because you got to convince them you didn't know about it. Oops, second time I said that. Because it's that important. I've had cases like that. That's why I'm bringing it up. It comes as, I had a kid at San Diego State that happened to. About 10 years ago, it's been now, before your time there. After your time, oh my God. I was trying to make you younger than you are. See?
It's all good.
Kush seems not serious to you. Okay, let's all agree it's not serious. But hear what I know about it from my work. I'm doing my interviews now of students about their colleges, and I can tell you right away the ones that are hitting the Kush. Slowness of thought, slow-witted, hard to keep attention. Listen, when I was young, y'all might be wondering if I ever hit the Kush. I didn't hit it, but I was a designated driver. But I hear, Sergio, that the Kush, I hear y'all, and he probably heard the same thing. He probably heard the same thing. The Kush they smoke today is way more powerful. And it stays in your body. A few years ago, I had a young lady that wanted to be in the FBI. That was her dream. The story ends good, but let me tell you the bad part. She wanted to be, just to talk about it, she went away to Fisk University. She studied public administration, option for law enforcement. She was like, I'm gonna be in the FBI. She met with people from our church that were the local recruiting agents from West LA, and she was ready to go, Jessica. She ready to go do it, poor thing. And they had a drug test. She says, well, I haven't used, she says, Deacon, I haven't hit the Kush for, she said it a different way. I'm saying it my way. She said, I haven't hit the Kush for 9 months. I said, well, you should be all right. Yeah, you'll be all right. Do you know the test detected? They take the hairs out. They pull hairs, and they check the hairs, and they can tell not only that you hit it in the last year, because see, they asked you on the application, so they get you for that and the fact that you lied. She was devastated. Her mother called me up, said, Deacon, I can't get her out of her room. It was her life dream. Now, Good part of the story is she got off at work for me for 2 years. And she's now in LAPD. She's a sergeant. She's going to try for FBI again. I like that story so much. I reminded her of that the other day. She said, yeah, that's right. But, you know, it seems it's not serious, but this is stuff I find out from my work. It's really hard with how powerful it is today, how strong it apparently is. That makes it a stronger psychological dependence on it, right? Regular use many times leads to more serious drugs. You're open to that because the high is reverse tolerance. You need more and more, and you need something quick to get you up, and that's how you get into more serious drugs. Again, I don't see any scriptures anywhere on here. We're just talking logic here, right? Being logical. That's all we're doing. I got scriptures for you if you want them, but I don't think the argument is scriptural. Casual use is pleasurable, but it could affect your grades. That's the thing about life. Things that are pleasurable could be a problem. Now, I'm only talking about sex and drugs. I'm really not. You know, if you're really like addicted to the internet, to social media, or whatever. If you smoke kush, you could be mixed up with the wrong kind of people. Somebody said that earlier today. Was it you? Somebody gave me that, I had that thought when I heard that. I think it was Sanisha that said that. You know, but you shouldn't. So what is a good party? I say certainly drug-free. They have alcohol at the party, just don't drink it. Also, watch how the punch bowl is. Watch the punch bowl. You'll have a good time at the party. Most parties are good, though.
Yeah, I mean,
right? Don't you think?
I think so. I would
Come
say
on now.
I didn't drink in college. I didn't start like being a social drinker till mid-20s, but I still would go to the parties and have a good time. I mean,
Sure.
once you're 21, you know, if you want to drink, that's fine, but always be responsible. You don't want to get drunk because that's puts sometimes you, well, a lot of times it puts you in a dangerous situation, especially if you're not with friends. You know, if you're a young lady, you want to make sure that you
Oh, that you're sober, yes.
Yeah, that you're well. That also that you have a group of friends and that you're all looking out for each other because
Yes.
there's some really tragic things that happen when young ladies get separated and don't look out for each other.
Never drink a drink that's been handed to you. Exactly.
Ooh, see the origin of that bad boy, right?
Yeah, for young ladies, just don't drink anything that's been handed to you or that you don't know how it's been made or don't even risk it.
Had a young lady at Hampton, she drank the wrong thing and it made her psychologically tore her up. She had to leave Hampton. Again, that story ends good. These things can end good once God gets involved, but don't get in that place. Well, she's doing well too. I just thought about her. I should check on her. Okay, I think that's it. That's all I have for you today. I think keep those. Think about that. Thanks, Sergio.